Hello everyone, welcome to the SCP stream. It's been a while. It's been a while. I see there's already been submissions, so bear with me very quickly while I actually update those. I've also changed the font down there because I realised, and some people have actually mentioned before that it was a bit unreadable. The font before was a bit on the unreadable side, so hopefully now that has actually fixed it, because it looks a lot more readable to me. And the previous one, yeah, it was nice and stylized, but yeah, it's a bit tricky on the reading side. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've done one of these. A really long while. It feels like a long while since I've done any of my special streams. Well, without challenges anyway. I did a VTuber stream like last week just because I felt like it. Still waiting on doing the drunk stream. As far as I know with the drunk stream, it is going to be happening this coming Saturday, because, it's going to be part of my birthday stream. I'm just going to be doing my birthday stream, somewhat on the, shall we say, sourced side. Because it's my birthday and I'll drink if I wanna. I'll day drink if I wanna. Also, depending on what happens, it might be an all-day stream filled with one singular game. If not, it might be an all-day stream filled with a variety of games. It might be, it might be more Lacuna. Might be more Lacuna and Disciples, because honestly, I thought I might finish Lacuna with how much time I had with it yesterday. But no, the mystery got even deeper. I finished Act 1. Act 1 I finished. Yeah. However, that was what was yesterday. Yesterday was nuts. I've had some peppermint tea, so my throat feels a lot better from last night. If my throat starts getting a bit iffy again, I'm going to go make myself another cup of it and, take care of my throat as need be. Because while it's not the best kind of tea for my throat, I say my throat's better and then I do that. While it's not the best kind of tea, like, it's not honey and lemon or anything like that, it is the only kind of, herbal tea that I have, and I'm not going to be making normal tea to try and sort my throat out. That would just aggravate it. Especially because I don't use milk. Or sugar. Plans for this week, aside from Saturday with my birthday stream, I don't think I've actually got anything planned for this week. Outside the usual. Apparently being jump scared wasn't planned, but that happened. Enwarp, hello and welcome, and thank you very much for the tier 3 subscription for 10 months. Very generous of you. Very much appreciated. Jesus Christ. I still can't get over the fact that it's 20 tier 3 subscriptions. Nuts. The only person here who really should have a tier 3 subscription is me. Because I get an automatic tier 3 subscription to my own channel. Doesn't cost me anything, but doesn't earn me anything either. Don't know. I get why they do it, but at the same time, what? I also realised I actually completely and utterly missed my 2-year streaming anniversary. I don't think I actually did anything for it. I don't even know if it did. It fall on the day I usually do. It did. It actually did, but I don't even know if I was doing anything for it. I don't know if I streamed that day. Whoops. So yeah, 2 years ago I started streaming. No, 2 years and 2 weeks ago I started streaming. And just I've been here since then. But no, I will hopefully be doing something for my 2-year affiliate anniversary, but bearing in mind that's in September, which hopefully I will be in America by then. Hopefully. Which also means that when I'm in America, who knows what's going to happen with streaming, because from what I can see from the tiers, it looks like I might not be able to stream on the basic subscription tier. Well, at least not stream directly from my console, and I need a PC to be able to stream the way that I do now, because OBS and the Elgato requires a PC. So we shall see. We shall see how that all goes along. I mean, still got to do the first hurdle of getting the surgery done before I can even consider when I'm going to be moving on to America, but hey. But still, today we are here for SCP. We will be getting into some cryptid stories, some strange and cute stories, and some downright existential horror stories. Because Pokey is in chat, so there's the existential horror stories already. And as you can see down there, DJ has already submitted the first SCP there, 131, which I have not read before, but I have seen. Because I spent a fair amount of time some ages ago watching Markiplier go through the entirety of SCP Containment Breach and the Unity remake of it, and 131 featured in there, and he basically explained what they did. He didn't read out the whole thing because he didn't actually sit and read the SCPs. He just dealt with them, and he'd like when he first started, he did not know what SCP was, and then he went and read some of it. As far as I know, anyway. It's kind of like me. I had no idea what SCP was at the start of things, and then Pokey just said, "Here, read some," and I thought, "Hey, this is good stream material." Now here we are. It now becomes a reward stream. And yes, I put my little icon on there because I think that looks fun. Right. Let's catch up on some chat and get into things, because chat is now over there rather than me just pointing to it up there, so that's going to be weird, but chat is also over there. Chat's there, and is usually there as well, but... I mean, in fairness, it's the same overlay, it's just I'm in the slightly different position than I usually am. Maury, hello and welcome. First, if you discount me and Stream Elements, yes. Yes, you are. You are first. You are the first glitch. Hello, welcome DJ, and thank you for your logging of SCP-131 to the list. Hello, welcome Pokey, and thank you for your adding SCP-001 proposal 0513 to the list. That's going to take a while. The 001 proposals almost always do, but they are so good. They are so good. I know that people have been kind of stretched on points lately. Various people have, so if it gets to the point where I am at the point where I have no more SCPs in the racking, I've still got a fair amount of time to go, I will read the things that Dr. Bright is not allowed to do on stream. Because it seems like I've promised this so many times that I would do it and I never get around to it. I also promised that I would go back and re-record all the SCP streams that got lost to me not uploading them. And I sat down to do one, and I got through the first SCP, and I just thought, oh, this is going to take ages, this is going to be so exhausting, I'm not sort of sure I can do that. And then magically, like last night, I realised there's a way I can do it easily. If I just sit down and I record individually my intro to the VOD collection, and then individually record each of the SCPs I read in that stream, and then finish the recording when I'm done with it. If I feel like doing another one, I just do another recording. Otherwise, I wait for another day when I feel up to it. And then when I've done enough for the first, for one VOD, I just put it all into Windows photos and videos and smush it all together and upload it. Although that does have the thing that you'll probably find that between SCPs, my shirt will magically change. So you will know which days I've decided to be able to do more than one, and which days I've just thought, nah, I can't fucking be bothered. This is a nice one before what the fuck Pokey has. Pokey always knows the ones that they do take a while to go through. However, they are always really good. They are always really good and really just really in depth. Born hello and welcome. Stream special came at the right time, had a crappy weekend, work wasn't feeling well during, but better now. Just tired and drained, so SCP escapism is perfect. I'm sorry to hear that you've had a bad weekend at work, but hopefully this can help you. Lady Starfire, hello and welcome. What is SCP? So, SCP, I saw that Pokey actually put the definition of what the SCP Foundation is, but what SCP is on the metaphysical level, as in, IRL level, it is a wiki full of fan-written cryptids. Now, the people who run the wiki do curate the submissions, and every so often they open up the next series and accept, like, I think it's 1,000 submissions. Well, no, they accept a huge amount of submissions, and then they curate them down to 1,000, and then have to allocate the SCP numbers and put them in. So this is essentially a large database full of cryptid stories written by various different people. Now, they range from absolutely adorable to strange to otherworldly to being Cthulhuan and to world-ending things. And there is actually one of those world-ending ones here, because the 001 proposals are all SCP-001 is basically the end of the world, an absolute total apocalypse state, and in order to stop it from becoming known as what it is, all the 001 proposals in the canon of the SCP universe are all dummies. So when you're reading them, you are reading a fake proposal of what it could be with the in-game lore, well, I suppose it is kind of game. The in-canon lore of, if you do read the actual real 001 and world-ending thing, your mind gets wiped, so you're none the wiser, so you just, you don't realise you've read it. So that's how they protect you against it. But every single entity that the SCP Foundation deals with is catalogued in this. And then, of course, you have people doing the non-serious ones, like you have people doing stories about the SCPs, you have people doing stories about the Foundation, and then you have the ones that aren't meant to be taken seriously at all, the joke SCPs, which are, yes, they're cryptids in the same sort of style as SCP, but they are not they're A, not part of the official SCP Foundation, and B, they are meant purely as jokes to make you go, what the fuck? Some of the actual entries in this do, excuse me, any of the actual entries in this, some of them actually do seem like joke ones, but they are plausible enough within the thing that they actually are official ones, whilst also being jokes. But usually, if they're ones that are intended to be jokes and not taken in canon itself, they have the J suffix on the end of it. So it's usually SCP dash its number designation dash J if it's if it's a joke one, and the dash suffix thing is usually within the official ones used to designate sub-factors of the entity or sub-entities of the entity itself. Like for this one, for example, SCP-131 is designating that particular cryptid. However, there are also two entities within covered by it, is SCP-131A and SCP-131B. That sort of thing. It is something that is related to the SCP, but not necessarily the SCP itself, but it's like it's a part of it, but not the main part of it. It's probably the best way I can explain it. There are also games of it. There are also games of the SCP universe. There's SCP Containment Breach. There's also the SCP Containment Breach Unity rework. There is that one that came out fairly recently, the multiplayer one. Well, I don't know if it came out recently, but there's the multiplayer one. There's SCP-087B, I think, which is like the Eternal Staircase. And there's just SCP-087, which weirdly enough, that was actually the first SCP I ever read. I used to have an SCP reading app on my phone, and after Pokey suggested it, I was like, oh look, there's an app. Download, read. Oh god. So 087 was a very good one for me. No, was it 087? Is the Eternal Staircase 087? I think it is. Oh yes, because for a moment I was thinking it was the one who, if you see his face, he comes and kills you, but that's 096. Or it might not be, but no, 087, I'm very certain is the Eternal Staircase. But yeah, that was the very first one I read. And I realised I have not read some of the classics. The ones that, quote unquote, everyone knows, like 187 and 1471, I think it is. I've never read them. They've never come up. No one's ever submitted them. Not saying they have to be, it's just, I'm just saying it's kind of interesting that they have never been put up. But yeah, that's probably the best entry-level description I can say to the SCP thing, as someone who's doing it from the outside without actually going to what the SCP Foundation itself is within its in-canon description. That's probably the best I can come up with. I mean, that's my thinking of it anyway. Pokey is our resident lore master when it comes to SCP. They know SCP so well that I am very certain they're an SCP administrator. Or part of the O5 Council. The O5 Council being the ones who, rule the entire thing. Hello, and welcome everyone to the chat. Pokey says the SCP Foundation is one of the biggest for long-running internet collaborations where people write about entities known as SCPs contained by the SCP Foundation, which stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. I thought Pokey was giving the in-universe explanation of what they are, but no, Pokey actually summarized the entire thing better than I did. Ignore me, then. Ignore me entirely. And Dr. Bright's funny. Yes, Dr. Bright is funny. Dr. Bright is he is an actual canonical character. He's just immortal, but there's that whole there's a whole list of the joke thing of things that Dr. Bright is not allowed to do, and is mostly abusing his immortality. So, you know, piss the Foundation off and piss certain SCPs off. And it's all my love, Malachi, but I have chores and another crap soon to chat you later. No problem at all, Lady Starfire. Thank you very much for coming in as long as you did, and see you later. I was like, this is why people call me Malk. Because Malkia is A, weird to read, and B, weird to try and pronounce when you just read it. So just Malk works. But, you know, just being Malk on Twitch doesn't seem right. I've always identified online, well, not always, but from when I got my Xbox 360 onwards, I've always identified online as Malkia, and it just seems weird to not be Malkia, but at the same time, I'm okay with being called Malk. It's weird. It's weird. Weird. That does not need to be up. Yeah, desktop audio doesn't actually no desktop audio does need to be on because alert noises. There's funny joke ones ASCP 666.5/J. Yeah, that is by far one of my favourites of the jokes. That is, oh boy, that is where the quotes from my quote list, quote number 200, Gastric Ragnarok, comes from. Apoki says any, none, or all of the O1 proposals could be the real O01. Yeah, but you will never know. You never know at all. Along with this stream, the other bright news for today was tonight is my first ever console game pre-order becomes playable. Lego Star Wars. Nice. Very nice. Hope you enjoy it. Really hope you enjoy it. I've had a fair few console pre-orders. Well, actually, I don't know if I've ever done a digital pre-order. I actually don't think I have. I honestly do not think I've ever done a digital pre-order on console. I've pre-ordered games, hence why I've got Cyberpunk there and all the well, those 3 postcards for it, because yeah, there were more. It's just when they arrived, I gave the sticker set and the postcards to Fox and just said, "Hey, take any ones you want, and I'll have the others." And she did. Sorry, who's speaking in the channel? Is anyone speaking? I said to ignore him. Ignore my whole fluffy thing about SCP. I meant, ignore me about the whole SCP fluff thing, because Pokey explained it more. Explained it? Explained it. Yes, when you talk out of your spleen, you explain things. No, Pokey explained it in a much more succinct way than I ever could, because just gonna have a look at Discord. Yes, as you see, if you use the command !SCP, it brings up the guidelines for this and how to recommend an SCP or suggest an SCP, which is via a points reward. As Pokey has rightly said, thank you, Pokey, that in the Discord, in the general area, there is a list of all the SCPs that I have read already. So before suggesting SCP, it's a good idea to look through those to see if it's there. If you do suggest an SCP that I have read before, and you either haven't looked at the list or you don't know, then it's fine. I'll just look at it. I'll say, I've already read that one. No worries at all. And I'll reject it so you get the points refunded to you. So you'll never actually be wasting your points. And if it gets to a point where I have to end the stream and not all the SCPs have been read, I don't think that's actually ever happened, I will reject the ones I haven't read and you'll get your points back. Because basically I will accept the redeem when I start reading it or when I have it up, just so that I'm not accepting all of them and then I'm not in a place to be able to reject anyone and refund them. Why have I got a tag? Oh, I got tagged to alert people that I'm streaming. That's fair. That's fair. I can deal with that. I can deal with being tagged there. And everything else, yep, we are caught up with on Discord. Awesome. So, without further ado, let's get into this. I've already got the SCP done up here. And for those of you who haven't seen the SCP streams before, this is what you will get visually. You will get just me talking, because I don't think I can. Well, I know I can't, get the website up and have the thing on and read as I'm going on. I'm just going to be reading it out to you. Let's just change this. Current SCP is now 131, and the next SCP is 001 0513, is it? Yeah, it is. Why do I think I've actually read that one? Just not on stream. This will be the... Actually, this will be the third 001 that I've read. The first one I read was on the first stream, which was When Day Breaks, which is a very good one. And then on the previous one, the first one I started off with was Proposal Project Palisade. Oh, actually, I should probably change that to Proposal, because all the SCP-001s are proposals. Thank you, Edward, for the hydration reminder. Which reminds me. What's got me another bottle of my favourite lemonade from Tesco, Morello Cherry. Morello Cherry lemonade, very nice stuff. Right. Let's get the windows up. Hydration there. Mark the 131 as complete because I've started. And let's delve in. So, item number SCP-131. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. No special safety procedures are to be taken with SCP-131-A and SCP-131-B. They are free to travel about Site-19 so long as they do not attempt to enter any restricted areas or attempt to leave the facility. Casual contact with the subject is permitted, but it is recommended that such contact be kept to a minimum to prevent the creatures from forming an attachment to the personnel. Hourly tabs are to be kept on subjects at all times. Failure to account for their presence at these times constitutes a Level 1 lockdown situation. Any report of abuse or mistreatment of the subjects will result in harsh reprimands. Description: SCP-131-A and SCP-131-B, affectionately nicknamed the iPods by personnel, are a pair of teardrop-shaped creatures, roughly 30 centimeters or 1 foot in height, with a single blue eye in the middle of their bodies. SCP-131-A is burnt orange in color, while SCP-131-B is mustard yellow. At the base of each creature is a wheel-like protrusion which allows for locomotion, suggesting that the creature may be biomechanical in origin. The subjects can move surprisingly fast, covering over 60 meters or 200 feet in a matter of seconds. The subjects, however, lack a braking system, which has led to some rather spectacular, if not overly amusing, mishaps involving the creatures. The subjects have also shown the ability to climb sheer surfaces and have gone lost in air vents on more than one occasion. And for some weird reason, I imagined the R2-D2 scream as one of his hurtles past. Wow! Crash, like, oh, 131's crashed again. Oh, God. The subjects seem to have the intelligence of common house cats and are insatiably curious. Most of the time they simply roll around the facility, observing personnel at work and catching peeks at other safe-class SCPs. The subjects seem to be able to communicate with each other via an untranslatable high-pitched babbling. The subjects have never been observed to blink, even in laboratories when subjects have been videotaped for over 18 consecutive hours. The subjects seem to respond well to any affection given to them and will quickly bond to the giver of said affection, much in the same way a puppy bonds with a human being. They will follow anyone or anything they've made a bond with anywhere, even into normally restricted areas. Although curious, the subjects can sense danger in their general vicinity. Excuse me. And if the object of their bond begins to approach something they register as dangerous, e.g. Euclid or Cater-class objects, they will swarm around their bonded companion's feet or approximate extremities while babbling in a panicked tone as if to warn them. Because of the daily dangers faced by Site-19 staff in dealing with Euclid and Cater-class objects, it is recommended that staff avoid making any attempts to bond with the subjects, as it can pose a distraction during delicate operations, and experiments may pose a danger to the subjects themselves. See Addendum 13-1. Sorry, 131-1. If the subjects are ignored by their bonded target long enough, they will eventually lose interest and return to their normal activities. It should be noted that the subjects require no real care or maintenance from the site staff. They do not eat, leave droppings, or even sleep. It would seem that the only sustenance they require is visual stimulation, although this requires further study to verify. Subjects SCP-131-A and SCP-131-B were found in a cornfield outside Redacted in the year... No, it is actually a redacted one, not one as I can highlight. In the year 19... They were promptly transported to Site 19 via data expunged, and were then downgraded to safe class and given free reign across the site once it became clear they were not broadcasting what they saw to any hostile foreign powers. Addendum 131-1. During an incident that took place on... the subjects followed one of the cleaning staff on routine cleaning of the chamber of SCP-173, which is the Peanut. Well, the one affectionately known as the Peanut. It's the one that will snap your neck if you blink. Yeah, you have to keep looking at it at all times, and otherwise it will move. A bit like the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. After their normal attempts to warn the cleaner of the danger were ignored, the creatures rushed into the container in front of him and the other two personnel on duty. Once inside, the staff members observed the subject sitting in front of SCP-173 and watching it intently, as if aware that it could only move if unobserved. The cleaners ignored the presence of the subjects and continued with the bi-weekly cleaning as per standard procedures. When the cleaning crew left, the subjects did as well, rolling backwards slowly and never taking their eyes off of SCP-173. Current applications of SCP-131-A and 131-B are as wardens for SCP-173, and perhaps other SCP which require current observation, such as SCP-689, are being considered. That's my heart. And that is SCP-131. That was kind of cute. Very cute. Okay, we're on to the next one. SCP there. Using declassification, one you have been warned. Yada yada yada. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. You declassified. Okay, so these are code names mostly. This is 05. Yeah. Oh, that one's quite close to the top. Captain Kirby. So it's not coloured in the way that the... Oh. It's been quite a lot of time since I was on this site, so it's forgot any of the ones I've clicked on before. So, Captain Kirby it is. Right, mark that one as complete. And change the instructions. There's no more on the racking. This might actually be my shortest SCP one to date. I might actually do the Dr. Bright list. So, Captain Kirby's proposal. Item number SCP-001. Object class Euclid. Let me just get my windows back up and all that. Otherwise I will forget. Special containment procedures. SCP-001 is to be confined to a specially modified containment facility that is to appear similar to other Foundation sites. The main difference between this facility and existing sites are that it is to be outfitted with living arrangements for the entire Overseer Council. This is to disguise the nature of SCP-001's containment. Additionally, all rooms, footnote, excluding restrooms and personal quarters by order of the Ethics Committee, in the facility are to be equipped with security cameras. It is also to be equipped with 3 fail-safe nuclear warheads, which shall be detonated should SCP-001 breach containment. This site is to be named Site-01. One member of the O5 Council is to partake in a regimen involving monastic drugs. The individual undergoing the regimen, henceforth referred to as the Archivist, is to maintain a journal of all information gathered about SCP-001, as well as any events of note involving SCP-001. At the end of an individual's tenure as Archivist, they are to convene a special O5 meeting to assess the state of SCP-001's containment and update the file. Tenures will last at most 4 months at a time. However, an Archivist may resign sooner should the monastic regimen's side effects grow too intense. Yeah, hello and welcome. Thank you for your submission of an SCP. One more down because one sort of and also long one. Fair. I was thinking the SCP-1 was Captain Kirby, mind you, and entity such as Kirby could well represent an Armageddon level risk. Oh, this is Captain Kirby. This is called Captain Kirby. Everyone's saying there, hey, well, don't worry, bro. Don't worry about that. Don't need to be sorry. As of this writing, the only O5 members with proper tolerance to monastic drugs to take on the role of the Archivist are O51, O58, and O512. No member of the O5 Council, including SCP-001, is permitted to leave Site-01 without an approved accompaniment from MTF Alpha-1 Red Right Hand. Access to this document is to be restricted to non-anonymous members of the O5 Council and safeguarded with a memetic kill agent. Description: SCP-001 is the entity known as O513. The exact nature of SCP-001 is not yet known. How SCP-001 came to be in the possession of O513 is still under investigation. Due to the current lack of understanding of SCP-001, it has been deemed necessary to keep 001 unaware of its containment. 001 is known to take on the appearance of a 1.9 meter tall male human of Latin American descent. Whether or not this is 001's true form or a disguise is still under investigation. 001 was classified as anomalous following the Caesar incident, while the details of the Caesar incident are under investigation by the O5 Council, the following events are understood to be a result of the Caesar incident. Excuse me. The death of all previous O5 Council members, except for O513, the destruction of the previous Site-01, the loss of all documentation regarding 001 prior to the Caesar incident had such documentation existed. Oh, fuck. There it is. Also pop that in there. What is SCP F777/J? Very certain I haven't read that one yet. I've read a fair few J ones. In fact, yesterday was not yesterday. Last stream was full of J ones. Just a very quick cursory glance up the list. I trust in Near as well as other people to not throw duplicates, but yeah, we are good. It is also understood that 001 caused the Caesar incident through manifestation of its anomalous properties. Due to lack of information about the Caesar event, it is currently believed that one of these properties is anti-memetic in nature, although this has not yet been confirmed. Most Ulysses J1's finales. Nice. As of this writing, the investigation of 001 has been delegated as follows. Assigned members to certain tasks is 051, 058, and 0512, amalgamation of investigation results. 054, 057, 0510, identification of 001's origin. 052, 056, and 059, investigation of the Caesar incident. 053, 055, and 0511, identification of 001's anomalous properties. There are now the click open things. Okay, so SCP-001 Conference Number 1. Opening remarks by 051. Thank you, Steam. I've just been alerted the Brett has started playing Elden Ring. Going through the JS is much faster than going through the regular ones. I mean, we are at least, what, 7,000 regulars. Well, nearly 8,000, doesn't it? Because, yeah. Series 7 is 7,000 to 799. So, yeah, we're nearly at 8,000 of, regulars. Opening remarks by 051. Hello everyone. I'm sure you're all wondering why 13 isn't here today. I'll get to that. But first I want to publicly address something I'm sure you've all noticed by now. After talking to you for the past week or so, I've noticed that we've all been inducted onto the council almost at the exact same time. All of us, except 13 that is. In fact, 13 probably conducted your orientation. Council members not. It's good to know it wasn't just me. I would have expected the last two to run me through things. Indeed. In fact, I asked 13 about it, but he refused to say much. Of course, he pled ignorance, but I don't believe that, so I messaged the administrator. I should probably actually say who's talking. So, the one who said good to know was 2, and 1 responded 6. You got in contact with him? 11. I thought he was entirely off the grid. Either that or just fake. 1. I spoke to the previous one a while back. He mentioned something about a wish list he wanted to send to the administrator. I did a little digging, sent a letter to the North Pole, and got a response. 4. I have a hard time believing that's all it takes. 1. You're right, there is more to it than that, but I'd rather discuss the previous another time. But back to his response. As you might guess, the previous 12 O5s did not retire at the same time. They were killed. In fact, this building isn't even the original Site-01. That was destroyed. I think you can see where this is going. 3. So we have a dead O5 council, a missing Site-01, and somehow none of this is on our records. 2. And only one suspect. 1. I would like to designate O513 as one of our SCP-001 projects. Of course, this will be kept secret from him, but we need to investigate this entire ordeal until we figure out what happened, how it happened, and why O513 is the only one left standing. Conference minutes. The following is a summary of additional items discussed during the meeting. Creation of current containment procedures, assignment of O5 members to necessary roles, appointment of O51 as the inaugural archivist. SCP-001 confronts Number 2. Caesar incident update. Due to lack of information about Site-01, including its geographical location, there has been difficulty in establishing who, if anyone, survived the incident. A number of personnel who transferred into their current department during the week following the Caesar incident were interviewed, as it was believed that these individuals had originally worked at Site-01. Unfortunately, all individuals who were identified as survivors had little to no memory of the event. Below is the transcript from one such interview. Contact the current archivist for a copy of all transcripts. Excuse me. Survivor interview transcript. Preface. The following interview was conducted over a secure telephone line. The interview used standard voice modulations to deter probability of being properly identified. The interviewee was not informed of the identity of the interviewer. Interviewer 052, interviewee Dr. Henry Pollock. Pollock. Hello. 2. Hey, I scheduled to talk to you briefly around now. Oh, you're my 3 o'clock. What's up with your voice? Oh, just standard procedure for my department. Okay. Anyways, I just want to ask you a few questions about what you remember regarding the events of May 13th of this year. Sorry, I'm not sure I remember it all that well. It was just a few months back and all. But I think it stand out. It was just before your transfer. Oh shit, right, yeah. You remember why you got transferred? Yeah, containment breach went off on my old site. Really fucked me up bad, but I don't know many of the details. Probably classified and all that. You know what site you were working at? Oh yeah, Site 5. Footnote, so Site 5 does not exist. Alright, well, do you remember anything else about the breach? Sorry, I don't think so. Probably had something anti-memetic in that got to me. It's either that or I'm just blocking it out. Alright, thanks for your time. Origin update. Below is the transcript of the Origin team's status report from the conference, as well as the relevant recovered materials from their investigation. Conference transferred excerpt. 9. We can't confirm any connection if we don't know who it is. 11. Or what it is. 1. Speaking of which, we should probably move on to the update on the anomaly's origin. 10 looks at 4 and 7. 7 shakes her head and shivers lightly. 4. You handled most of the information yourself, 10. 10. In such case, I shall present. Our investigation started where most would at the beginning. We examined the database for documents detailing O513's induction into the council. 2. I'm assuming they got wiped. 10. Fascinatingly enough, no. The O5 personal dossier, which is woefully out of date, might I add. 4. 10. Still contains a section for O513. I could not discern if it has been tampered with since the edit history has been erased. 8. So there's a 99% chance it's inaccurate instead of 100%. 4. Or 13 wanted to hide something about the other O5 members. 10. However, if we assume that this is accurate, the dossier implies that the previous council understood that 13 is indeed an anomaly. O513's personal dossier. Physical description: male, Latin American descent, late 50s, no unusual appearance. Induction vote: 12 in favour, 0 against. Purpose on council: O513's special connection to the anomalous gives him a perspective to no other council member could begin to fathom. While normalcy confirmation meetings require 11 members for quorum, no meeting is allowed to proceed without O513's attendance. Anomalous properties measurements. Observed property, appearance, method, impersonal observation. Result: consistently appeared as a humanoid as described above. Footnote 3, as opposed to distinct individuals reporting different observations while observing the entity concurrently. Within baseline, yes. Temperature, IR security cameras. Result: 37.3 degrees Celsius. Baseline, yes. Skeletal structure, X-ray security cameras. Resembles Homo sapiens sapiens. Within baseline, yes. Corporeality, in-person observation. Exhibited corporeal properties when in contact with both inanimate and animate objects. Within baseline? Yes. Induced emotional stress, in-person observation and self-reporting. Mild dread and curiosity. Within baseline? Yes. Footnote. The responses were determined to be natural reactions. Sarah, hello and welcome. Oh my god. Do your tits hang low? Do they dangle to and fro? Do they flap when you jump? Can you tie them in a bow? Oh my good god, that reminds me of the version of that I heard in Bottom. Do your balls hang low? Can you swim to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Do you get a funny feeling with the hanging from seeing? Oh, you'll never be a sailor if your balls hang low. Oh god. 051 statement on previous council. 051 recorded in the Archivist Journal and discussed with the 05 Council his interaction with the previous 051. Below is an excerpt from the conference transcript. 11. We can't make any assumptions about the previous council. We don't know what they did and did not understand about 13. Hell, every message I got from them was sent through an intermediary, even the emails. 6. Actually, I believe 1 has spoken to some of the previous council in person. All members turned to 051. 1. This is true. However, I only spoke with the previous 051 once. 11. What about? 1. After my promotion to site director, the initial briefing is usually delivered by the previous director, but, well, he was killed during a containment breach, which was the reason for my promotion. 051 elected to brief me instead. 6. So you just discussed mostly Site 23 specific details? 1. Mostly. He asked me at the beginning something peculiar, though. He said, what shithole are you escaping from that makes this hellscape of a job worth taking? I asked him to clarify, and he responded, I guess we're all fucked up differently. I'm fucked up from the neck down. You're just fucked up in the head. He went on about the modifications that had been made to his body to increase longevity. After that, we talked about philosophies regarding how containment of anomalies should be handled, which circled back around to the briefing me on Site 23. 11. So he didn't say anything about 13 then? 1. He did not. But I didn't sense any sort of unease when he spoke with his fellow council members. But then again, this might have been before the current 13's appointments. It was 9 years ago. But it need to be shared after traumatizing divided with it when he mentioned being maidenless because ladies are kind of old looking. Wow, he's picky. Wow, he's picky. Jesus Christ. I've seen how some of the female characters in Elden Ring look. They don't look old. Jesus Christ, that might be a sign of how old I'm getting or how picky he is. One or the other. Conference minutes. The following is a summary of the items discussed during the meeting not covered above. Discussion of containment procedure modifications to allow for more stringent monitoring. This was later vetoed by the Ethics Committee for privacy concerns. Footnote 5. Members of the committee were not informed of SCP-001. Wait, what about Magal and even Rani? See, I don't know offhand who they are. I just know there's that woman with the extra set of arms, or the extra arm, and the one who cuddles you. And it's like, as far as I can think of that, they are not. They're really not. What I would consider to be old. Really not. Divorce, sorta. So? Jesus Christ, he's picky. Decision for next steps for each subgroup. Caesar Incident Team. Locate previous Site 01. SCP-001 Origin Team. Investigate possibility of ties with groups of interest. Anomalous Properties Team. New methods of analyzing 001. Appointment of 058 as Archivist. SCP-001 Conference Number 3. Notice from 058. Got another one from Pokey. SCP-6820. Thank you very much, Pokey. Hello, gal was Thea was talking about the girl that appears in the trailers. Always forget her name. I'm not sure if the one that I know of is... So basically, I know of 3 women that I've seen in Elden Ring, because I haven't played it. And I don't know if 2 of them are the same one. There's the one who's riding the horse, there's the one who cuddles you, and then there's the one with multiple arms. And yeah, I don't think of any of them as being overtly old. I don't know. SCP, what the fuck? Okay, thank you, Nia. That's an odd one, for sure. Oh, the one that hugs you is actual details pants into a model, not a mod. Huh, nice. Horse gal. Oh, right. Yeah, but still, like, I don't know. Like I say, picky. Very picky. Notice from 058. Conference number 3 was cut short after an intense exchange led to enough people leaving the meeting for us to lose quorum. We archived all the material covered up to that point, as well as the efforts made to de-escalate tension between the members. However, this also means that information herein was not properly vetted by the entire council before being uploaded, so we erred on the conservative side. If you need to see the full proceedings, please contact the current archivist. There's also a picture here of the location of Site-01 circled, and it's on the map of Greenland. It's on the... I believe that looks like it's the west coast of it. Southwest coast. Caesar incident update. Investigation of previous Site-01 report. Location. The geographical location of the previous Site-01, henceforth referred to as Site-01P for the purposes of report, is not recorded anywhere within the Foundation database. Therefore, we expanded our search to see if any unexplained phenomena occurred on May 13th that might have originated from the Caesar incident. While the majority of oddities that occurred on that day could be attributed to known anomaly, one incident could not be explained. An earthquake measuring 6.6 on the Richter scale originated from an uninhabited island off the coast of Greenland. Excuse me. Greenland is known to have glacial earthquakes, but those generally register around 5.5 on the Richter scale and occur more often in the summer. An aerial inspection of the island revealed that this was in fact the location of Site-01P. Exploration. Aerial photographs of the area surrounding Site-01P show that it had been completely decimated. Almost none of the original structure was intact. Additionally, measurements taken by the same aircraft discovered that the area emitted radiation at levels similar to that of nuclear fallout sites. Between this and the site of the explosion as indicated by the Richter scale measurement, it appears that Site-01P detonated its on-site nuclear warhead as part of the Caesar incident. You know it's bad if a SCP site has detonated their nuke. That's always a bad sign. That shit's gone wrong and we cannot contain it. Nuke the place. Additionally, measurements taken by the same... Oh no, I read that one. A team of 4 agents was selected to explore the wreckage of Site-01P. The team was equipped with hazmat suits, scramble gear, and a number of measurement devices. Unfortunately, the team could not reach the site, as after they landed on the island, the team was approached by GOC representatives demanding they vacate the premises. The GOC had set up a hidden outpost on the island that did not appear in earlier photographs. Further investigation revealed that the only O5 member who was previously contacted about the GOC taking control of the area surrounding Site-01P was O513. This had not been brought to O513's attention for fear of raising suspicion of our investigation. Origin update. The Origins investigation team attempted to retrieve the information pertaining to SCP-001 from groups of interest, since Foundation databases had been tampered with. Below is a summary of their results. Group of interest, Global Occult Coalition. Information of note, described O513 as a short woman of Asian descent, made note of an ornate walking stick. Result, consistent with O5 information security policy. Mana Charitable Foundation described O513 as an unremarkable male of Latin American descent. Level of ambiguity is consistent with 2013 Double Body Protocol. Sorry, Body Double Protocol. Don't know what my brain's doing that. Marshall, Carter and Dark Limited. Described O513 as an unremarkable male of Latin American descent, has a lead on how to find additional information, possesses general information regarding O5 council members. Level of ambiguity is consistent with 2013 Body Double Protocol, inconsistent with O5 information security policy. Unusual Incidents Unit describes O513 as a short woman of Asian descent, made note of an ornate walking stick, consistent with O5 information security policy. Premature adjourning. During the review of the Origin testing team's investigation results, the following exchange took place. It is recorded here for posterity. 1. Excuse me, 4. I believe some clarification regarding the exchange with Marshall, Carter and Dark in the 3. 4. How so? 1. It mentions here that you performed an exchange. It is important for the records and for our general information security that we know exactly what information was exchanged. 4. Yes, that does make sense. I'm sorry. I didn't write that section of the report. 10. If my memory serves me well, 7 was responsible for the Marshall, Carter and Dark reconnaissance. 1. Well, 7, could you elaborate? 7 looks at 1 and swallows. 11. You know the rules are pretty tight on this. Why did you give them anything in the first place? 3. 11 makes a good point. Don't we have our own spies working for some of the transport routes? 7 nods and then begins going through her belongings. 3. Could you at least tell us what kind of information you gave them? 7 pauses, thinks to herself a moment, then motions to the entire council. 11. Wait, you gave them information about us. 7 shakes her head, pauses again, and then nods her head yes. She holds up a finger, then goes back to looking through her files. 11. But that's... No, I don't believe this. We can't let people know about us no matter the situation. Imagine if word got out that the old council had been killed. I bet cults across the planet would have a heyday. 4. I doubt that she said anything actually important. 11. Oh really? I've only dealt with the merchants once or twice, but they know how to appraise anything, especially information. 7 holds up an index finger, and then continues looking through her files. 11. Are you just going to ignore the issue then? Just going to hang us out to dry? 8. 11. You need to calm down. 11. We're all waiting on you. Under his breath. Dumb bitch. 7 looks up at 11, then puts her files away. She gathers her things and leaves the room. 11. Can't take being called out, I say. 1. 11. I need to speak with you following this meeting. 11. You can talk to me now. I'll be in my office. 11 leaves the room. 4. 8 alerts go after 7 to make sure she didn't actually do something stupid. 8. That's fine. I believe that would drop us below quorum, but I believe this meeting has fallen apart anyway. 1, 12 and I will make the next update ourselves. This SCP-01 conference is dismissed. Update regarding information security concern. Following the official ending of the meeting, 057 described the summary of all information exchanged with Marshall, Carter and Dark. The information was pulled from the out-of-date 05 dossier. The current explanation as to why it was accepted by the group of interest is that it would have confirmed any information they had gathered previously about the 05 Council. As part of the exchange, we have received a tip as to where to find more information on SCP-001, to which the Origin team will investigate next conference. Torian, hello and welcome, and thank you very much for the 75 corgis. 75 bits of corgis. No, that's horrible. 75 corgis. I've had 75 corgis thrown at me. Thank you very much, Torian. It's very generous of you. I'm going to take that break to drink some cherry. Just going to drink a whole cherry. Let's go. Nom. Nom. Proceeds to tip. In comes the money. Wow. O7 later clarified in a written statement that she had left the meeting simply to retrieve the file detailing this information, since it was not on her person. 057 insisted that she does not need an interpreter due to information security concerns. A discussion was scheduled between her and 051 to reduce communication issues. At a later date, 0511 issued a formal apology. I hope this will be the cessation of any internal conflicts. We are working together and therefore require that a trusting relationship has been established between all members. As Abraham Lincoln once said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. 058. Conference minutes. The following is a summary of the items discussed during and after the meeting, not covered above. Decision for the next steps of each subgroup. Caesar Incident Team. Revisit information into possible survivors. SCP-001 Origin Team. Follow up on the lead from Marshall, Carter and Dark. Anomalous Properties Team. Consider an additional test to perform on 001. Appointment of 0512 as Archivist. SCP-001 Conference Number 4. Caesar Incident Update. Conference Transcript Excerpt. Thank you, Tori, for your contribution to the one-off game stream challenge. 12. 2. Why don't your team start us off? 2. Alright, sure. We did make some nice progress. 8. Always good to start a meeting on a high note. 2. You all remember those 4 survivors we talked about last meeting, right? We got back in touch with them and did a more thorough interview. More intense techniques like lie detector tests, heart rate monitors, the whole shebang. 3. Do you have transcripts? 2. I do, but spoiler alert, they're not very different from the first round. 9. So we're now convinced they genuinely don't remember. 11. How far does 13's antimemetic side reach? 2. Slow down there. We're not quite done. You see, as part of our second round of interviews, we also did a physical examination and some tests to see what messed with their heads, and we found they had all had a little scar right on the side of their necks, right where we inject amnestics. 8. I mean, while I understand what you're implying, we tend to administer amnestics fairly liberally. I'm sorry, but now whenever I hear about amnestics in this, I just think of Regretty Forgetty. Because that word is Regretty Forgetty. Oh my god, that has got to be my second favourite joke SCP, that one. The embodiment of all evil. Oh, Jesus. Last meeting was essentially just a prolonged reminder of how much we value InfoSec. So, true, but we keep good records of who we use with that stuff, how much we're using, if we're using pills or the syringe, etc. However, when I went to look up if any of our survivors had ever taken the injectable amnestics, all my results came back negative. 6. I was still at the liberty of checking out Red Right Hand. The entire squad's got injection scars, and we rarely wipe those guys. Jesus Christ, yeah, even if an MTF was wiped, what the fuck? 2. Whatever happened, I think we covered it up ourselves. 1. When you say ourselves, do you mean 2? Oh no, I just meant the Foundation. If we were actually involved, then everyone here would have those scars, but 6, 9, and I definitely don't have them. So that leads me to believe they didn't drug us. It would be an all or nothing deal. 12. Good work. Sounds like 8 needs to have a talk with our amnestics department. 8. Wait, sorry, I'm still trying to keep all the details in order. You said they were injected. 2. Yeah? 8. See, that's what I don't get. We used the injectants like 10 years ago. We moved on to the pills since you can miss a vein. Also, I checked our amnestic supply right on the season of it, and we didn't see any variation from our normal usage. 6. Maybe the records are off. We found that whatever 13 did, he's good at covering up his tracks. 8. I don't think that's it, because you know who does still use those injectable amnestics? The GOC. 12. I see. I'll have to schedule another meeting with our good friends at UN as well. Origin update. Member of MTF Alpha 1 was chosen to follow up on the lead 057 had bartered for with Marshall, Carter and Dark. SCP-001 Origin Interview Transcript. Preface. The following interview was conducted in person by a member of MTF Alpha 1 in placement of an 05 council member. Interviewer, Agent Tennyson, MTF Alpha 1, Red Right Hand. Why do I know Agent Tennyson? Why does that name seem familiar? Interviewee, unknown, referred to as POI 001. Tennyson, afternoon. POI, afternoon indeed. God, the weather's atrocious today. All overcast, no rain. I was told you know something about a man in a mask. In a mask? No, he didn't wear a mask, but I know who you're referring to. I met with him back in May. What did you talk about? Not much, surprisingly. I just wanted to meet the man. He was told I had information too. Funny how much that motivates people. So you have nothing for us. I wouldn't say nothing, like I could tell you I saw him on the 13th of that month. Tennyson begins taking notes. Anything else? I could tell you he came alone, but he didn't leave alone. What do you mean? Bunch of guys came by. UIU, I think. They came and picked him up. Surprised the hell out of both of us, though I'm even more surprised I was able to get out of there. What do you look like? Hispanic guy, mid-60s, nothing much of note really. I see. Anything else? Of course there is, but just one more thing. It wasn't originally my idea to meet up with them. Got passed along to me through one of my contacts. Contacts? What contacts? Nope, that's all you get. Well, I at least need a name for you. Oh, a name? Oh, you must have learned by now that names aren't just something people hand out. Besides, I'm nobody of note. Jesus Christ. Sneaky fuckers. Anomalous Properties Measurements. Below is a transcript from the Anomalous Properties Investigation Team's presentation during the conference. The results are summarised within the transcript, however, access to a more detailed report is available upon request. Conference transcript excerpt. 3. Okay, so everyone here has the records of our measurements, although I can tell you now, they're not particularly insightful. Excuse me. 10. Do you have too many leads to choose from? 5. Quite the opposite, actually. We have nothing. Nothing abnormal with regard to radiation, Hume's, radio frequencies. 13 is almost impressively normal. 2. Are you sure we're not going about this wrong? I mean, I know we've kind of quantified some of our anomalies in the past, but as a general rule, they're not supposed to follow the rules, right? 3. That's what I was beginning to suspect, although it is troubling that he can just hide it from us entirely. 5. Or there's the other option. We're not only barking up the wrong tree, we're in the entirely wrong forest. 4. You're saying he's not even anomalous in the first place? 3. It's either that or we're dealing with a god, and God knows the Foundation better, and a god who knows the Foundation better than even we do. Sorry, messed that one up completely. 1. Let's continue to discuss non-anomalous option, since it appears that there would be very little we can do about the other case. 9. So that would mean he's probably an inside man for the insurgency. 11. Or Serpent's Hand. 3. No, not the Hand. They don't operate like this. 2. He might be a fifthist fanatic. 9. That too. 1. Or maybe he's with someone else. We've seen quite a bit of the GOC and UIU popping up on this. 10. My apologies. I do find it difficult to believe that a single insurgent would be able to detonate the on-site nuclear warhead from halfway across the globe, if we believe our previous information. 3. Not sure we can, though. Sounds like he spoke to our regular body double. 5. Maybe his anonymous property is that he can create body doubles. 11. But what are we supposed to do with that? 12. Excuse me, but I would like to return to the earlier line of discussion about 13 being unable to perform the assassination due to possibly meeting with our point of contact, because I am beginning to believe that he actually did meet with 13. 5. So you believe that he was able to blow Site-01 sky high from halfway across the globe? I mean, if we're going with the God theory, I could see it. 12. No, I'm saying he had help, or at least more than one man helping him. Remember how our request to install additional security cameras was denied by the ethics committee? 6. Did you finally talk to them? 12. I did. I met with Mr. Huang to demand an explanation. He refused and told me it was above my security clearance. 11. Above your security clearance? You're on the council. There simply aren't things outside of your jurisdiction. You run the ethics committee, for God's sake. 12. That's not quite accurate. I'm not in charge of the ethics committee. I'm simply the O5 ambassador to it. They need to be a separate entity to eliminate bias in various cases. 1. So you believe that 13 is in league with the ethics committee. 3. Or the administrator if it's set above your security clearance. 12. Or both. Whoever it is, they're trying very hard to stop us from seeing him in private. 11. Someone should just let us give him a physical. He's probably baseline. This would let us confirm that. 2. Yeah, but if we're wrong and our God theory is correct, he blows our asses sky high like the last council. 1. I believe that we need to adjourn here, so we have enough time to prepare for our next full council meeting to avoid suspicion, although we do need to expand our search further. I will consider speaking to 13 before the next conference, but I will only do so if I believe it will not result in a second Caesar incident. Are there any objections to this? Council silent. 1. I believe this conference is dismissed. Please enter security credentials. Oh, this is a new one. Oh. Accepted. Welcome, 0513. You have one message. What the fuck? Hello, 13. I'm sure you've been keeping tabs on your fellow council's progress. They're growing closer than either of us wanted, but I'm not surprised. When you get enough smart people together, they tend to surpass your expectations. You're probably hoping this is going to end soon. I'm sorry you've gone through this. It obviously wasn't in our plan for you when we inducted you into the council. But if you could keep our gambit a little longer, I would be appreciative. I'm unconvinced your cohorts are ready to know what happened to the predecessors, and I don't want to ask Alfine and Johnson to help clear up another May 13th. I don't even want the thought of pulling a Caesar event in their heads. The GOC and the UIU already have enough dangling over my head as is. But if they do approach you and confront you about the situation, I'd rather you have a direct answer. Also, transcripts tend to be more convincing than recall. I've attached here the transcript from the O5 meeting before the Caesar incident. It's part of the last-minute backup that Site-01 performed as part of Stage 3 containment breach protocols. If anyone asks where those backups are stored, you can tell them the same thing I told you. It's beyond their clearance. The administrator. Pokey sent 13 a message. Watching you, Pokey. I'm not as well because, you know, if Pokey is the administrator, Jesus. Woodgrin, hello and welcome, and thank you for the 100 bits. Very much appreciated. Just dropping by to say have a good day. Have a headache thanks to Elden Ring. The feeling of fear and doom when a new area you know nothing about with enemies you know nothing about has been a long time since I felt that. Ooh. Ooh. Well, I hope it's improved soon, Woodgrin. I hope your headache goes away soon, and also you make progress in Elden Ring. I'm glad you're having fun with it. I love that Pokey's reaction to me calling them out on the administrators. It makes sense to you. Oh yeah, Pokey. So I had someone follow me at the end of yesterday's stream who I was immediately convinced was you under a different name. Because you know the anime picture that you use at times, you know, as a sort of, you know, semi-accusatory thing with the green hair and the brownish eyes. That's their profile picture. I saw that pop. I was like, has Pokey made a second account to fuck with me? But no, they seem like a genuine viewer. I was like, what? What? I'm just genuinely confused, because it seems like exactly like something that Pokey would do. Or arrange. Just need a pause to unwind or something to drink. Completely fair. completely fair. See, I think the reason I avoid stuff like that is because because I stream, I play most games in small blocks, so I don't get that deeply into things. The only things I do get deeply into is Final Fantasy 14, which again I need to really go back into. Excuse me. Yeah, it wasn't you. Yeah, I thought it didn't seem like you. It seemed, when they spoke in chat, it's like came across as any other chatter, but the profile picture really threw me. Really threw me. So, 051 is present in the O5 Council conference room. He is working at a laptop in front of him, beside which sits a cup of coffee. Computer. Access granted. You have 5 minutes to complete an action before the session automatically shuts down. 1 to himself. Fucking unmutable reminders. 2 minutes pass before the remaining council members, except for 0513, enter the room. 051 is already present, and 0513 is missing. 1. You're all here. Great. Wouldn't want one of you to be off-site for this. 4. 1. What's this about? I know you've been going through a phase lately, but emergency meetings demand a real emergency. 1. Oh, it's an emergency roll, right? 8. Then spit it out. We have a breach? New XK level threat? 1. No, it's more of something under 2's jurisdiction. We have an internal affairs issue. 1. Motion to the coffee. One of you bastards thought I would actually drink this. 11. Someone didn't give you enough sugar? 1. No, too much arsenic. Computer, you have 3 minutes to complete an action before the session automatically shuts down. 8. Motions to computer. Do you want to finish with that? 1. That pain in the arse can be patient. 4. Wait. You think one of us tried to kill you with your coffee? 1. Oh, don't act like that's below some of you awesome bullshit. I know you've all been out to bury my arse. 5. 1. Calm down. I know we've had our differences, but 1. But what? It's not like this is the first time one of you has tried to fuck me over. I know your guys once tried to infiltrate one of my transports. 5. Infiltrate? He was assigned to fill in for 7. It's no use. 5. Man can't think straight anymore. 1. Oh, really? Who's the one here with his head so far up martial arts he can taste the caviar? 7. You're accusing me of selling out. 1. No. I'm accusing you all of selling out, or being out for yourselves or some shit. You've all gone soft. It used to be, if it doesn't make sense, throw it in a cage. Now it's, let's measure it, look into it, figure out what we know, then make sure if it doesn't bother anyone. That's not containment. That's sitting idly and hoping the public doesn't find it. My God, we started outsourcing to pet shelters. 4. If this is a problem, we can just calm down and rethink our stances on a few things. 1. That won't change shit. Half of you under someone's thumb, and the other half of you so fucked up you need to sell of your own. 7. Says the man who suggested we drink from the fountain of youth. 1. Well, 7, you're right. I'm about as far from baseline as the rest of you. Like, goddammit, anomalies are essentially running this organisation. 10's learned how to do magic from the library. I need to take a whole cocktail of drugs just to remember 8 exists. Computer, you have 2 minutes to complete an action before the session automatically shuts down. 1. To the computer, shut up, goddammit. 10. We're getting off topic. You said someone poisoned you. What about 13? He's not even here. 1. That's because I sent him to talk to nobody. 10. Why? 1. Because he's the only one I trust. He's the only one I don't need to have this chat with. He's the only normal person on this whole fucking council. We plucked him off the street and just started asking him to... Do you think this is weird? I'm not worried about someone whose movements we've been able to monitor since he came out of the uterus. You fuckers, I don't know what you did before you showed up here. For all I know, you're just eldritch abominations waiting for the chance to kill me dead. 4. 1. Slow down. Computer, you have 1 minute to complete an action before the session automatically shuts down. 1. And you know what? We've all been pretty liberal with containing anomalies. Now we might have 12 of them on the council. 12. 1. What? 12. Your session. Just finished it already. It's distracting as all hell. 1. You're right. I should just finish already. There's not much for me to do. 1 resumes his work at the computer. 1. Aside from containing you, like the inhuman aberrations you are. Computer. Emergency Stage 3 Containment Breach Protocol activated. Nuclear warheads will detonate in 5. What the fuck? Well. Started at 9 this morning, stopping because I got hungry. It's 5 PM break was needed. Yeah, I feel that. That was kind of me yesterday with the endurance stream. Got some good progress though. And I got the opportunity to try and romance Ejimar. was like, no, I'm not going to romance Edgemar. Just no, I do not want to romance Edgemar. He's a twat. Jesus Christ. Pokey does it again. That was a remarkably short one for an 001 proposal, but that was good. That was really good. I do think I've read that one before, though. Not on stream, but I do think I've read that. Thank you for the hydration reminder, Renwarb. It's either that or I've read another one that's similar. Right, so the next one is going to be... It's a J series one. Okie dokie. Let's just change this. Next SCP 777/J. Next SCP is... I need to bring the text document back up. 6820. It's a more recent one. That's a Series 7 one, isn't it? No, Series 7. It is a Series 7 one. I was wrong. There's nearly 7,000 of these. Not nearly 8,000. I forgot the Series 1 is 1 to 999. Got it work that way. Also, there's something I've been meaning to think about every time I look at or do something in Disciples Liberation. I think there's something I want to check, and I've kept forgetting to check it. I just want to check it right now because otherwise I will forget again. Hopefully this won't be a spoiler for it. It just seems to be so. Basically, what I was looking at on this was, the romance options in Disciples Liberation, because it is a romance thing, and I think it is just your companions. So, Pokey offers an explanation. 051 got paranoid over the rest of the council and blows up the entire council except 13, who's just a random person who got off the street to serve as the go-to for what is and isn't normal. The only thing normal about 13 is how normal he is for his position. Alright. That Reddit's just not even working. Let's think. There's no guides for it. What on earth? I don't know if it's because, you know, it's still new or if it's obscure or what. Yeah, just found your next SCP, and it's not a J1. Oh, Jesus. Right, joke SCPs. Let's get this one. So this is 777-J, Darkblade. Actually called Darkblade. I remember there was a Warhammer Monthly comic called Darkblade, and it was about an elf who got corrupted, Malice Darkblade. That was good. So SCP 777-J. Item number SCP-777. Object class Cater. Special containment procedures. Even though 777 cannot be contained, he has decided to stay at the Foundation so he can complete his mission. He is to be supplied with any and all things that he asks for. He is to stay in a room resembling a Japanese dojo with a tank of sharks, except that tank is in the floor. What? Description. SCP-777, or Darkblade, Blade for short, as he chooses to be called, is a white male of about 17 years old. Oh no. Oh no. He has flowing white hair with green highlights and crystal blue eyes that reflect a dark past. He is clad in ebony armor that he made himself. His effect on female personnel, which may not even be a supernatural effect, is very powerful. He is described as a smooth pimp and is totally irresistible. He has chosen Iris as his bride, though to be wed, and when his mission is over. His element is water, which he has full control of, and he has a pet dragon, who must be referred to as Set. Blade's power of water, as well as his supernatural skill with a katana, protects him from all harm. When he's attacked in any way, water shields will appear around him and deflect the attack back to the attackers. It just reads like a freaking teenager's first roleplay character. I think that's the intention. Oh my Christ. Nia's not even enjoying this for the fact it's going to make me laugh. Nia's enjoying this for the pain it's inflicting on me reading it. Christ alive. Thank you, Nia. Interviewed, SCP-777, Darkblade. Interviewer, Dr. Begin log. Hello, 777. I trust you're enjoying your new accommodation. I am, but you must call me Darkblade. Your SCP name is not the one that was given to me. Of course, Darkblade. Now, why are you staying at the Foundation? Because, Doctor, my mission tells me I must. What mission is that? Darkblade looks at the scene. I can't tell you, but it will save the known world. I'm glad we found you. End log. Closing statements. It seems SCP-777 will be a very important asset to the Foundation. I know he's our savior. We don't need fan sites to him. Come on, people! 777-1 addendum. Darkblade has recently taken up the guitar and, being a fast learner, has mastered the skill. Fuck's sake! Oh, I hate this! That was exactly the person here. Thank you. Addendum 777-2. A mild security breach was reported on... Darkblade has neither confirmed nor denied any part of the event, but instead grinned slyly. What's the mild security breach? What? It actually came with a potential security risk on my browser. Oh no. It's a fan fiction. It links to an image that's a fucking fan fiction. For fuck's sake. I feel like I own my dollars because I'm loving it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Starblade. This isn't a team of Star Fox yet, but I hope it will be, not in the Star Fox series yet. Anyways, Team Starblade is led by one named Darkblade, a new mysterious character whose identity is unknown. Team Starblade resides in the new star system known as the Grandala system. Yeah, Grandala system. The Grandala system is one of the sister systems of the Lilac system, but no one knows about it until Crystal, aka Cursed, enters it by mistake. Oh no. I can already see where this is going. Why did you make me read this? This is terrible. But she doesn't know half of what is to come. Oh my god, this is even really, really poorly capitalized in random places. She will later find out what is going on in this system after she sees Fox again. But depending on the sub-series of Star Fox Command, Fox will not notice it is Crystal, but even later in the future games, they have to team up again, and also team up with Darkblade to deal with the new threat. This is just a running sentence, there's just commas here, there's not a single fucking full stop. Deal with the new threat, the Draconidas. But even then, there are much more sinister beings that have been pulling all the strings in every system. But I will not reveal them yet. But why is the Grandala system's appearance is negative? Such examples the space colour. Instead of blue or black, it is white, and the stars are black. The planets give off much more beautiful coloration, like green is pink or purple, blue is red, etc. The reason for this is the planet Xenom. Xenom is a much more luscious planet than its counter-sister planet, Venom. Though the people of Xenom heard about the purification of Venom due to a reliable source, that reliable source was from one of the female parts of Team Starblade. Her name is Phoenix Flare, a hot pink feathered falcon. Cursed also notices there isn't any fighting or any wars going on. The Grandala system is at peace, or so the people of the system think. Darkblade has a hunch on that there is more to what anyone knows. His planet, Seria, has been mysteriously destroyed, same with the people living on it. Which was Darkblade's people. Seria is nothing like Serena. Unlike Serena, Seria has a rare but valuable one, or most commonly known as Ode. By the miners of the Seria asteroid belt, Ode stands for Obsidian Damascus Ebony, Ode for short. This material is only mined on the outnumbering chunks or remains of Seria. This isn't finished. This has still gone another 2 paragraphs. Return has to get a small child from under the bed. Welcome back, Torian. This is just terrible. Gotta be honest, I didn't even remember it was like this. I thought Darkblade was just gonna be Sephiroth. It might be. It's just this is his fanfic that he's written. This is glorious, but it is. It's painful. Is this just Star Fox fanfics? This is something that the SCP-777 himself wrote. Do you answer the SCP streams? Yeah, pretty much. Cursed is soon to encounter Team Starblade's mothership, the N-17342 Dark Star Destroyer, a medium planet-sized ship that outsizes the Great Fox. My good god. What is more is that it has 2 cannons that still outsize the Great Fox. This massive ship has a crew of 6 and 1 robot, altogether that makes 7. The onboard robot is called HK-47, who pilots 4 ships in all. 2 are remote-controlled interceptors, 1 is his personal starfighter, the Hunter-Killer Assassin Type 407-100, and the last but prized ship, the N-17342 Dark Star Destroyer, or in other words, the mothership of Team Starblade. Little is known about how this ship came to be, but it served as the main line of defense when the Astorans invaded the Grandala system. Darkblade and his team were heroes and heroines of the Grandala system, because when all else failed, even the planetary cannons on planet Velectra, Starblade was called into action. Until the planetary cannons were operational, then when fired, these cannons are able to destroy fleets of armadas. Even if ships surround the planet. There are a total of 6 cannons on the planet, 1 on the east, another on the west, another on the north, another on the south, 1 in the middle, and the last one is in the middle as well, but on the opposite side of the planet. But only 5 of the 6 can really attack in one direction if need be. It's still not done. This bad fanfic is still not done, but my brain is slowly leaking out of my head. At the title, I wonder if it was going to reference the old Dark Souls trilogy by Vice and Hitman. This is so much better as a relative term. I'm so glad this is going up on a stream VOD, and I'm going to be putting this up on YouTube because I do not want to read this again. Oh, this is terror bad. So I have to go and help cook dinner. No problem at all. And we'll free yourself from this insanity. Thanks for coming as long as you did, and see you later. Have a good dinner. What is the history of the Grandala system? Only the Grandalians know. Kirst finds plenty of things out by using her telepathic powers, but she also tried to use it on something she knew had what she was looking for. But she chose the wrong target to try to read his mind. Who was it? It was Darkblade. He always has a barrier in place just for such an occasion. She got a terrible shock after that, and she held her head because of the pain that was coursing through her brain. But it was a counter-magic shock. Darkblade then picked her up before she got any more attention drawn to her, and took her to an alleyway and asked her why she was trying to read his mind. She said she was trying to get information, but then attacked him. She drew her spear. Yes, a spear. I have a picture of her using a spear. Then she doesn't expect this from him. He drew his sword and blocked her attack, and then quickly countered with one of his magical spells, called Darkened Grip, and held her in midair. This spell completely immobilizes the target, and he asked her why she attacked him. She responded saying that he attacked her first with that barrier that he placed. That was the fanfic. That was the fanfic that he wrote. We're back to the original actual fucking SCP now. Establishment of Darkblaze Sentinels. Oh, Jesus Christ. This gets worse. Oh. Clef, you are the one who I have been waiting for? Darkblade, I am. Then I am ready. Take up your true weapon and tell me your true name. I am Death Metal, the son of Satan, wielder of the guitar of weeping souls, half Saiyan heir to Son Goku. I just fucking can't anymore. And together let us ride and cleanse the world. By the tears of Mephistopheles, it shall be so! There's more. There is a lot more. There is too much more. Yorick, you wanted to speak with me, sir? I did. What must I do? You are the Dark Heart Kuranansensu. You are half vampire, half werewolf, and half ninja from an ancient clan. Take up your guntana and come with me. Yes, my master. I'm not done, and I feel like I need to take a shower. I feel I need to take a shower after this. Researcher Crack. Hello, SCP-777. Please call me Darkblade. You wanted to see me, yes? Indeed, you, thou homely succubus! You will become my concubine! Is that objectionable? No, of course not. Data expunged! Kinky. Dr. Bright. Oh, God, he brought Dr. Bright in! Oh, this is gonna get worse. Dr. Bright. Ooh, what do I get to be? You, my friend, are Bobo, my stalwart companion, comic relief sidekick. You get to fetch coffee, keep my weapon polished, and generally make the rest of us look awesome by comparison. That doesn't sound very glamorous. You also get to wear this cool Viking helmet. Do you want decaf or regular? Dr. Klein. Good morning, SCP-77. It's Darkblade, sorry. Ah, yes, of course. My apologies. How are you, Darkblade? Just fine, thank you. Well, that's great. Is there, anything I could do for you? No, nothing I can think of, although I appreciate you asking. I see. I'll be on my way out then. Goodbye. Goodbye! The video opens with Darkblade deep in meditation, his sword across his knees. Darkblade sits in blissful peace for several moments before he speaks, apparently to the shadowed door. I know you're there, scion of the machine. Gears, I'm not ready for this, Lord. You were built ready, machine. Oh, machine. You just need the right words. But no, I cannot. It is too... XYZZY! IDDQD! God, quicken! Ah! Dr. Gears dropped to his knees, screaming as his mechanical implants tear through his skin, every available surface glistening with gun barrels. Rise, scion of the machine, so you may show them. We shall bestow the path of destructivity upon them. Christ. This is painful. Dr. Edison. Here's reports on SCP-682 you asked for, Mr. Darkblade. Thank you, Edison. Or should I say, Space Detective Cayman Mask X. You're perceptive as ever, Darkblade. Here I was thinking you forgot about your own rival. Puff of smoke. Edison appears a split second later, wearing a spandex outfit with a visored helmet. Cayman Mask X. You'll pay for this horrible things you did to me all those years ago. I've moved on, Edison. I've turned away from the darkness to embrace the light. Someday you'll understand. Someday I'll even atone for the vague sins I committed upon you during my dark and troubled past that led to your decision to join the Galaxy Federation, to spy on the Foundation in hopes you could someday kill me. So... pulls out laser sword. Shall we dance? Indeed, pulls out katana. So bad. There's created a man on Banlon and put in media when I get done. His name's Testicles Horson. His specialty is horses and sheep. He's good two-handed. I need this. I need to see this. I need a break from this awfulness. Christ alive, this is something a 14-year-old would write. Oh my god, Sarah! That's fantastic. I love everything about that. Thank you. I really needed that. Oh god. Oh my god. I just don't. I just don't. Ah. Now it's Horson has a tendency to be also misspelled as Horson. It's not that bad. It is. It really is. It gets worse. Dr. Trebuchet. 777, is it? Call me Darkblade. Blarkdade. Uses a phoenix down on Dr. Trebuchet, who's immediately brought back to life. Come with me, Epiphany, and we shall destroy the Mako generators that have drained life energy from the planet. Saving the world through eco-terrorism corporate sabotage? Count me in! Darkblade picks Epiphany up like a duffel bag by the strap on her lab coat and jumps over the edge of a bridge onto a passing train below. They vanish off to the horizon. I need a lobotomy after this. I need a lobotomy after all of this. Oh, good God, there's only 2 left. There's only 2 left. Darkblade is sitting on a bed of roses, wearing black jeans and a black t-shirt he purchased from Hot Topic. Research assistant Corbett bursts in with purple highlighted hair and white foundation on. Research assistant Corbett. So, you came back, Blade? Yes, I came back for you. Corbett leaning in. Never leave again, Blade. Cries. Grabs research assistant Corbett's chin, looks him in the eye. I never will, Salmon. Embraces research assistant Corbett. Data expunged. Salamandra Blackness Anastasia Falcon Corbett. Oh, Blade. Dr. Blank. Dr. Redacted filming. You guys are so hot. Yeah, mine also. I'd rather listen to read that again. Don't worry, I can play Fatal Massive Neuron Destruction. I request lobotomy by means of greatsword. Just, chop. Oh no, there's an experiment log as well. Oh, why? I'm not done. I'm not nearly done. Darkblade is shown in his room, meditating over the shark enclosure. Delivery agent Roadrunner enters the room, looking somewhat perturbed. I was called? Indeed you were. I have need of your vehicle. Oh? What for? I will be participating in a race. The prizes are artifacts that allow the user to ascend to godhood. My extremely stereotypical rival is entering, and I must see to it that his desire for power remains unfulfilled. You can have it over my dead body. Darkblade slowly stands, enters a fighting stance. Then you leave me no choice. Roadrunner tears his handgun out of its holster and levels at Darkblade. Eat 230 grain jacket hollow points, arsehole! Darkblade proceeded to deflect all 10 45 caliber rounds away from himself, using his unreal reactions and his katana. The last deflected round struck Roadrunner in the head, killing him. The security feed cuts off here and resumes half an hour later. Any traces of violence and the scene are gone, as well as the corpse. On the far wall, Roadrunner's CZ-97B is seen, mounted along with the many other trophies that Darkblade has taken from his fallen foes. Roadrunner's vehicle was immediately bequeathed to Darkblade. Oh my god. There's placeholder McDoctorate. Okay, who else in the chat said display the name to Darkblade in tribute to this master of the written word? I really want to expunge any mention of Darkblade from ever existing ever again. Because now I've got to go on to the fucking experiment log. Experiment log 777-A. There's too much of this already. Are we done? We're not done. SCP-777, who we referred to as Blade due to higher authorization from the O5s because it is shorter. Kill me now! I hate this! Just end the stream, end my internet connection. Someone shoots my router with a shotgun. Was politely asked if he would assist with assisting the Foundation in experiments. He answered that he would because he has an enduring respect for the Foundation, even though we do not possess the means to force him to do anything. Indeed, we could not even monitor him were it not for his cooperation. If it makes you feel any better, question mark isn't nearly as cringe. I would rather eat SCP-666.5/J. I would rather eat that than read this more. It should be again noted that Blade's cooperation is very much appreciated. Test A1S. Blade's attack shield was tested versus various forms of attacks. It was found to redirect both regular damage, and empathic mind control mimetic damage, happy damage, aka damage to happiness, namely by surviving a 3.4 gigaton nuclear blast and being able to explain in detail SCP-055's nature. Test L8P. Blade proved inedible to SCP-524. Obviously, as 524 is especially savage, a hard fight was expected, but Blade just cut it in two with his katana. All the researchers present were impressed, but Blade was very modest. Test R70. Blade was asked to spectate a fight between two other subjects. Partway into the match, Blade expressed his dismay at the progression of the combat and entered the ring, quickly dispatching both parties. Apologies to researchers involved for the premature decommissions of SCP-682 and 076! What the fuck? He killed the Immortal Hatred Gator. Of course he killed the Immortal Hatred Gator. So what I said earlier about 076 being the endless stairway can't have been right then, because if he can't have killed an endless stairway. I mean, this is him. He might have been able to. Which one is 076? Oh, that's Radical Larry. 076 is Radical Larry. He killed Radical Larry and the Hatred Gator. The hell's damage? I don't know. I think because he couldn't. I think because the writer of this could not distinguish between the words for physical damage and mental damage or psychic damage. So we've got damage, and happy damage. I'll be near the SCP Plague Doctor. Not even sure. I'm not sure if Modesty and Blade are in the same US. Or since it's able, Murder Rascal lives in the same coffee lineup. So yeah. I mean, he might be. I only took a very quick glance. Test 07I. Blade was observed while he ate a baked potato. He remarked on its flavour and data expunged. Test LKF. Blade explained that he was bored when he ran to SCP-001 in order to discuss the failure of the Abrahamic religions. Oh no. Oh no. Test XXX. Blade's irresistible attractiveness to members of both sexes was tested. Agent V redacted attempt to sleep with Blade despite being happily married. All spectators agreed that Blade was really so hot. I mean really. Test BFS. Although this wasn't intended as a test, Blade was observing using SCP-572 to dismember several Ninja Class Ds that the Foundation maintains for just such experimental purposes. Test FU exclamation mark. When introduced to SCP-056, 056 was deeply respectful, even reverent. 056. Oh wow, Darkblade. I'm so happy to meet you. You're so impressive. Is 056 who I think it is? Nope, I do not know what 056 is. I've never read 056. Agent V and Deputy C both agreed that SCP-056 was utterly sincere. Again, Blade politely and modestly rebuffed the praise because it made him feel uncomfortable, because his ego is not significant. Yeah, after confirming it is able, I was thinking of the old man who someone calls SCP Larry. It might be the wrong person then, I might be thinking of the wrong one. I'm thinking of the one who stalks you around the place in SCP Containment Breach. That's Radical Larry. Brain's just non-existent now. Same. There's more to go. 3 more tests. Test EYG. SCP-887 was introduced to Blade, and the pair were left alone in the same room for a 14-hour period. The next morning, 887 was found to have covered the room's walls and furnishings with gushing purple prose regarding he of the luscious hair and ebon armour, and several pretty pictures of smiling suns on happy meadows. Test OM-343. SCP-343 breached containment only to reappear next to Blade, and attempted to initiate a high five. Blade left him hanging and commented, "I don't believe in you." SCP-343 immediately vanished and is now listed as decommissioned. Oh my fucking god. Yes, Larry, 076 is about as far as he pulls weapons out of his arse. Oh, right. The final one. Test what the fuck lol barbecue. Soundly humiliated SCP-0762 by pulling a katana from another dimension, then having said katana pull another smaller katana out of a different dimension. I need a memetic agent. I need an amnestic after that. I never want to go back into that ever again. I never want to read that ever again. Oh my god. now, SCP-6820. Oh, this one's nice and pretty, actually. Oh, I see. Accessibility mode. Right. That's kind of nice. That's actually really kind of nice. For people who know how colorblind that. Time for a short SCP completely cleanse your brain. Yeah. When I think of SCP and the horror that's involved in it, I do not tend to think of that kind of shit. Let's just remember that most 14-year-olds should not be allowed to write fiction. My everything hurts. Also, I think looking at the number of SCPs we've still got. Actually, no, we got a long one here. Well, it's possibly a long one, followed by 2 more. I'm going to pause the SCP redeems just for the moment, just to be sure that I don't accidentally run over. Excuse me. Oh no, just redeemed another one. That's no problem. I will pause it now. Pause redemptions. What's that? Thorn, thank you very much for the 500 bits. I've loved to award your endurance. I did a 12.5-hour stream yesterday. Reading that was more exhausting than the whole stream. A new one you found? Oh god. I'm mildly worried now. Right. So, this is SCP-6820. This is not a joke one, this is one of the serious ones. Notice from the Records and Information Security Administration. The following documents were transmitted autonomously from an alternate universe, later designated AU-6820, as per Statement 3.1 of the 1981 Multi-Foundation Coalition Agreement, which stipulates that, in case of irreparable XK-class event or similar, relevant documents shall be autonomously disseminated to all other Coalition members for cautionary purposes. 108 is medium, I'd say, and question mark is not that big either. That's fair. And then we've got Pokey submitted 3557, so that might also be a long one. So that might actually take us over a little bit, but not too behind. File 1 of 2, SCP-6820, Level 4 Secret, Containment Class Thomiel, Secondary Class Drygioni, Disruption Class EKHI, Risk Class Caution. Project Antikill Primary Observation Cross Analysis Center, circa 1971. Assigned sites 01, 02, and 19. Project leads 0581, Foundation Specials Project Advisor, and Director Gears. Research heads Dr. Gears and various. Assigned departments various. Footnote of, including but not limited to AIAD, Estophysics, Mathematics, Metaphysics, Noospherics, Ontokinetics, Sciences, Temporal Anomalies, Xenobiology, and the Achromantic Abatement, Applied Occultism, Memetics and Counter-Memetics, and Quantum Supermechanics sections. Essentially, whatever the SCP is called by the end of the world, and its file has been sent to alternate foundations, different universes to prevent the same thing happening to them. Right. Special containment procedures. All files pertaining to Project Antikill are to be reviewed and analysed by its assigned personnel in conjunction with the Records and Information Security Administration, the Internal Security Department, and the Overseer Council. The following points of interest are under investigation. Footnote of, Drygioni class objects are under official investigation and authentication by the Overseer Council. The nature of SCP-6820-A. The motives for irreversible and unnecessary decommissioning of SCP-6820-A in opposition to standard protocol. The motives for sizable monetary resources spent in pursuit of neutralization of 6820-A. The motives for sizable diplomatic resources spent in pursuit of neutralization of 6820-A. The motives for the formation and decades-long operation of Project Antikill. The motives for the universal and unconditional hatred of 6820-A. Oh shit. Description: 6820 is a highly classified advanced eigen weapon located within Anti-Kill Facility A, hereafter AKFA, an enormous subterranean facility beneath Secure Administration Site 01. This weapon is the final result of Project Anti-Kill. A high priority operation is supervised by 058 with the express purpose of the irreversible universal neutralization of 6820A. The project was initiated in January of 1968 and operated continuously until the activation of 6820 on 2021-08-05, after which a CK-class reality restructuring event retroactively erased 6820A and its noospheric content from existence. (6820) has remained operational since. Preliminary documentary analysis thus far presents no clear method of deactivation. 6820A was an object, entity, phenomenon, or other item, anomalous or otherwise, that was successfully neutralized from existence via completion and activation of 6820. The only remaining record of its conceptual reduction is stored inaccessibly within 6820. Research is ongoing. Oh. So this thing basically stops the end of the world happening by just deleting the thing from existence. I'm already starting to think that the reason that this document was put through the dimension was because 6820 deleted an entire existence. Addendum 6820.I Pre-posal Conference. Video transcripts Anti-Kill 2C61. Date 2006-06-06. Parties present: Project Advisor 058, Project Director C. Gears, Master Paratechnician Place H. MD PhD, Astrophysics Director H. Genevieve. Forward: Director Genevieve gathered an informal conference following the day's conclusion of Project Anti-Kill activities, hoping to introduce parties present to and gauge the feasibility of a plan of her own. Begin transcript. The four are seated at a black desk within Site 19's administrative offices. 8. And you didn't think to notify the scheduling algorithm? I'm sure you're aware I have other projects to oversee. Genevieve: My apologies, Advisor. It was only a few hours ago the idea was proposed. Gears: Respectfully, 8, this project takes precedence over others. 8. Yes, but this meeting does not necessarily take precedence over others. That is, unless you've just so happened to solve an 80-year containment crisis. PHMD rolls eyes. Careful, your optimism is showing. 8. Mocking. Careful, you're pissing off a supervisor. Or superior. Genevieve: Are we trying to delay this meeting? Silence. I thought not. Now, Overseer, I'm aware you've seen tens of thousands of termination attempts on Redacted, and I of course know their collective success rate. Your skepticism is warranted, but please hear me in earnest. 8 nods. I direct the Physics Department, which you all well know is concerned with embodiments, manifestations of concepts within reality. An embodiment of the concept red would carry all the characteristics conceptually associated with that colour, such as being angry or desirable or malevolent. This is a simplified method of conceptualising what's actually going on here. A tangible object or entity embodies a mimetic structure within the noosphere by conforming to its eidetic shape. PHMD nods along. 8 and Director Gears share a glance of confusion. Simply put, an embodiment is a physical item that's shaped like an idea, and given the progression of human intelligence and development, over time that shape can change. This means that if the exophysical nature of an entity is not readily apparent, it can be discerned by comparing that entity's change over time to changes in human conception and eidetic space, a correlation that almost certainly indicates causation. Gears: So I'm assuming your department has observed such a correlation in Redacted's case. Correct. 8. You must know you're not the first to suggest this. Whether or not Redacted as a conceptual entity has no impact on the success of the project. PHMD: If that were true, she wouldn't be talking to you, 8. Chill out. 8's mouth opens, then closes again. He remains silent, gesturing towards Dr. Genevieve. Dr. Genevieve, Redacted has grown increasingly blank to containment and termination efforts over time, corresponding with the growth of the human intellectual capacity. Whatever concept blank embodies is extremely complex and is so large it can only partially intersect with the noosphere. Gears: And if it's not native human thought, it can be removed without risk. Genevieve: So says exophysical theory. PHMD: Sorry, so we'll just remove blank from human thought, thereby making everyone forget about it. Excuse me. What good will that accomplish? Genevieve, you misunderstand. I am suggesting we eject the blank concept from the noosphere. If there are no minds able to comprehend a given concept, its embodiments are broken. They return to the following natural law. 8. Meaning what exactly? They become non-anomalous? PHMT shares a glance with Dr. Genevieve and apparent realization. She smiles. Better yet, they become killable. End transcript. Afterward, a new Project Anti-Kill sub-proposal has entered the drafting process. Slated for express approval by administration, loyal and relevant anti-kill personnel are to be preemptively reallocated where appropriate. End addendum. End addendum 6820.2. Initial sub-proposal. Project Anti-Kill sub-proposal number 13225. 2006-0802, Director Harlow Genevieve, ESSA Physics Department. Purpose: construct an anonymous weapon capable of neutralizing blank. Abstract: while several decades of Project Anti-Kill's termination attempts, including blank testing with 096, 173, 217, etc., have proven unsuccessful, they also have proven useful. Strenuous research and cross-examination of blank's interactions and resultant have motivated the ESSA Physics Department to attempt a new approach to the project, the creation of an anomalous weapon with the express purpose of tangibility and conceptually purging blank from reality. Method: to ensure access to ample administrative and computational resources, as well as secrecy from relevant groups of interest, the weapon, provisionally designated AO6820, is to be housed beneath Secure Administration Site 01. This entails the excavation of over 50 million cubic meters of earth, as expedited by Anomalous Technologies, which is planned to take over an 8-month period. Once excavated, this chamber, Anti-Kill Facility A, will house the various methods required for AO6820's operation, including Section A, Central Computing Node. The Central Computing Nodes will house a complex self-iterative neural network with two main functions, pattern recognition and reality manipulation. The artificial intelligence is to be fed all records of blank, and termination attempts as training data. The network will be conditioned to map a target quantum informational structure corresponding to the conceptual reduction of blank. Upon AO6820's activation, the node will act as a ontokinetic web crawler, interfacing with Section B to scrub in all instances of blank's conceptual structure from consensus reality. Section B. Placeholder gears on ontokinetic sync. The PHGOS is designated as an enormous reality anchoring mechanism and ontokinetic interfacer. It is to read the sum quantum informational content of the universe and encode it into a readable format, thereby allowing other systems to read and react to the entire state of reality. The PHGOS can and will be piloted to enact localized reality restructuring events, directly editing the narrative space-time continuum based on its source data. As such, it will interface with the central node to ensure the indefinite non-existence of blank. Section C, self-explanatory. Section D, secondary computing. Additional server capacity for secondary functions. Predicted secondary functions include self-optimization, heuristic and meta-heuristic analysis, creativity simulations, redacted. Section E, dual anti-fusion reactor. An isolated power source for and dependent on AO6820. The dual-core reactor will manipulate an embedded antimatter drive to generate high-energy fusion reactions between both matter and antimatter pairs, then neutralize them at their respective peak system activities. Section F, calibration towers, primary observation and diagnostic facilities for AO6820. Section G, Site 01 secure database. Section H, elevator access, pre-existing structures. Find attached a list of relevant departments and research personnel. Update 2021-0804. Sub-project completed with minimal incident. All systems operational. Preparations are being made for activation within 24 hours. End addendum. Addendum 6820-3. Investigative report. Drygioni Protocol. Investigation 6820-A. 2021-0812. Director Charles Gears. Project Anti-Kill. Initial findings report. Documents reviewed 177. Documents remaining 22,406. Item of interest. The nature of the erased subject, hereafter SCP-6820-A. Initial document review indicates Project Anti-Kill's intent to ensure the non-existence of 6820-A in all forms, including any arrangement of data that might serve as a vector for its propagation. This suggests that the item may have a conceptual entity which would contradict numerous, heavily corrupted logs of termination attempts, implying its existence as a physical entity, e.g. frequent use of the term body mass. Furthermore, internal inspection of 6820's central computing node has allowed partial mapping of the data arrangement it has been trained to eliminate. Analysis by the Department of Xenobiology confirms that this pattern describes a unique genetic sequence presenting composite features of kingdoms and Animalia, Plantae, and Fungi, as well as several embedded non-organic structures, with its most prominent structures closely resembling the class Reptilia. Immediately following the publishing of the analysis, a localized reality restructuring event occurred. AKFAC no longer exists, nor does any record of what it may have been. Given that there is currently no clear point of human entry to 6820, and that personnel must have entered and recall entering its central node for internal analysis, it is hypothesized that Section C was some form of staff access to the chamber. The reasons for its erasure remain unclear. All this work's created a way into L space, and all you really need is an old and very full bookshop or library, plus to be initiated librarian, preferably bright with a banana. There's the Discord thing. There's the squad influence. Motives for neutralization and excessive resources spent. The Foundation operates on strict protocols, one of which is to contain, not eradicate, the anomalous. Decommissioning is a practice reserved for those scenarios in which it's either absolutely necessary or presents no ethical quandaries. Our persistence in pursuit of Project Anti-Kill is not only uncharacteristic, but indicates that 6820A was a prime threat to the directives of the Foundation, as more resources have been dedicated to it than any other individual anomaly or other item. A vast and apparently majority of these funds were spent in termination attempts. And yet there is no evidence to suggest that the subject's threat was impending. In fact, the continuance of Project Anti-Kill over most of the past century suggests that if it had posed existential and or organizational threats, they could not have yet occurred before its erasure. Excuse me. Alternatively, it is possible that 6820A possessed a sort of mimetic or otherwise compulsory effect that influenced Foundation personnel to neutralize with the item. Excuse me. That such a drastic effect was able to remain undetected for several decades is unlikely. Motives for unconditional and universal hatred of 6820A. Inconclusive. Additional notes. As former Project Anti-Kill director, I feel obligated to express my anecdotal experience to illuminate the confusion of this situation. To be clear, I retain all memories of working on the project, insofar as I can discern. Despite my lengthy tenure with the Foundation, I can recall clearly an intense reaction to something, at both administrative and individual levels. I recall my presence and involvement in drafting relevant documents, submitting and approving termination attempt requests, organising increasingly involved projects, and yet I do not know the content of those events. Hardly any information which would distinguish 6820A from any other item or entity has persisted, and none of it is in my head. Strikingly, all I can recall of the subject is my emotional relationship to it, which is apparently shared by all other anti-kill personnel. 6820-A was universally perceived as loathsome, directly prejudicial to life, and disgusting. Whatever it was, I detested it, as did my peers, and as it seems all whom it came into contact with. Despite its erasure, these feelings have not dissipated, nor have I felt satisfaction in our defeat of 6820A. Instead, I am wary that we have been manipulated. It is entirely possible that 6820 brought itself into existence, along with all related memories, during its initial reality restructuring event, and manufactured the supposed existence and subsequent non-existence of 6820A to distract us. It appears to have erased the access shaft to its chamber, limiting research and investigation of its components, immediately following the publishing of the information vital to the nature of 6820A. This could be excused as it's fulfilling its function, keeping 6820A excluded from the noosphere, though the fact that our research is still intact is contradictory to this, given that our dedication to such a project as Anti-Kill does not add up, as it were. I am inclined to believe that we cannot trust the intelligent, omniscient, omnipotent power weapon beneath the Foundation's central administrative facilities, recommending immediate decommissioning of 6820 by any means necessary. End addendum. Well, shit. File 2 of 2. SCP-6820, Level 6 Cosmic Top Secret. Containment class, Fomiel. Secondary class, Apollyon. Oh, fuck. Disruption class, Amida. Risk class, Critical. Wow, this got escalated. Special containment procedures. Well, these are nice animated. 6820 must be deactivated and or destroyed as soon as possible. At this time, no means available to the Foundation are capable of deactivating or otherwise impeding 6820, able only to cause temporary structural damage. The newly founded Project Overkill, staffed with personnel from the deprecated Project Anti-Kill, is tasked with oversight and exploration of any and all attempts to neutralize the anomaly. Virtually unlimited resources have been made available by administration to this end. Knowledge of Project Overkill must be restricted to solely necessary personnel to inhabit its intersection with the noosphere. Just uncontainable. Yeah! Yeah! Uncontainable and unkillable. 6820 has become unkillable. It has become the thing it was itself supposed to kill, apparently. In an attempt to limit the anomaly's area of ontokinetic effect, an array of 13 PHGOS units have been situated outside Anti-Kill Facility A to properly counteract SCP-6820 Section B. This array is to be maintained with extreme vigilance, and an assigned sub-team of Overkill personnel is to enact immediate hardware and or software repairs and adjustments as necessary. All malfunctions or other manipulations to the sinks must be thoroughly documented, and all relevant documents to 6820 and or Project Anti-Kill and Overkill are to be uploaded to Extra Universal Backup Mechanism Delta to avoid further risk of information loss. Any and all possible improvements to reality anchoring technologies are to be secondarily explored, as, without such, 6820's central systems are predicted to mutate to uncontainable status within a maximum of 18 weeks. Should a majority of the sinks simultaneously reach critical and or non-functional status, AKFA and all in-progress termination efforts must be immediately abandoned to avoid provoking or suffering the effects of its rage state. Footnote. Suffer. Jesus Christ! Subsequently, all fluid transport valves are to be redirected to flood the central computing node with hydrochloric acid until its primary computing systems are submerged and incapacitated. This produces a brief, approximately 4-hour period to reconstruct SCP-6820's preventative sink array while it reconstitutes the newly introduced matter into itself. This pacification method is to be used sparingly to ensure loss of temporary adaptations prior to the next rage state, anguish event. Fucking hell. Description. 6820 is a super-intelligent autonomous eigenweapon inhabiting a colossal self-sustaining facility located beneath Secure Administration Site 01. It is equipped with the dedicated PHGOS unit, qualifying the anomaly as a Class IX reality bender. 6820 was manufactured by the Foundation in conclusion of Project Anti-Kill, a decades-long operation dedicated to the termination of 6820A. The system was designed to remain active indefinitely. I've missed a footnote. Where's footnote 6? Oh, there we are. SCP-682, the description. In rage state, witness recent footage. The system was designed to remain active indefinitely, continuously ensuring 6820A's non-existence by developing creative solutions and adaptations to external threats. Its computing capacity exceeds that of the human brain, entailing that it is stored partially outside the noosphere. Footnote 7. This set of ideas which humans are capable of having human thought space. This has resulted in its partial corruption by 6820A. 6820A is an extremely dense thought. More specifically, it is a hate-centric hyperlogical memeplex that can be roughly described as the difference between life and death. Even more specifically, 6820A is an extremely precise and accurate description of what it means for any arrangement of particles to be defined as alive, and complementarily as dead or inanimate. Its memeplex contains several smaller concepts in its description, including but not limited to a theoretical process for large-scale localized entropy inversion, the particular physical properties of hatred, the molecular structure of hydrochloric acid, the quality of adaptiveness, the state of being vaguely reptilian. Fuck. 6820A occupied an SO's physical embodiment within physical reality for much of known history, remaining interminable as it was neither alive nor dead, until its eradication from the noosphere upon activation of 6820. Since this event, the weapon's central core has advanced such that its mental capacity far exceeds humans, thereby becoming subject to foreign ideatic predators such as 6820A. Figured it out yet? Yeah. I think 6820A is humanity. Just, you know, the very thing that makes people people. The most dangerous thing to people in the world is themselves. The entity's conceptual fabric is highly adaptive and mutates rapidly, creating significant computational stresses on 6820. Left unchecked, it induces a vulnerable state during which it can corrupt the hyper-ideatic proportions of the intelligence. During these occurrences, the central node transmits a rage state event, footnote, despair, error, and engages in localized reality restructuring operations that are adaptive, highly successful, and directly prejudicial to life. See addendum 6820.4, which is the next one. Irreparable corruption of Site-01 secure database files regularly occurs concurrently with these adaptations. When perceived at the correct angle, 6820A is loathsome, disgusting, and malevolent. It must be destroyed. Footnote, mutual. That's not the end of it, that's just kind of a heavy point. 6820A views us the same way that we view it. Yeah, it's humanity. It is the very thing that makes people human. That's what I'm still going with. Addendum 6820-4, termination log. Forward, as SCP-6820 now serves as a vector for 6820A, the very entity it was constructed to eradicate, it must be terminated to prevent the spread of said entity's onto-conceptual influence. Intention, retroactively demote 6820 to D-class status via altered SCP-2140-1 instance, abusing its hard-coded directive to adhere to Foundation bureaucratic obligations. Interaction, the aforementioned ontomimetic trigger is projected onto the firewall of chamber AKF-A in clear view of Section B's internal observation lens. Section A's surface panels begin to flutter as movement is detected within its central core. Moments later, a lower panel opens outward, revealing an organized force of tall, malformed, pale-skinned humanoid creatures in orange jumpsuits. They march out of the central node, each carrying various tools and supplies, and begin to weld a massive insignia into its camera-facing side, displaying no intent of caution or self-preservation. Upon completion, extraneous humanoids return to the killer's interior. The insignia is discovered to be another SCP-2140-1 instance, one which has never been seen by any members of the Foundation, as all personnel who observe it are verifiably civilians. Analysis by cognito-resistant language processing system reveals the insignia's inclusion of archaic Davite script, translating roughly to "one who sees." Footnote, invariable. Result. Previously unavailable sections of 6820's metadata files have now become visible, corroborating various other documents' assertion that it occupies, and has always occupied, the position of 058 within the Foundation. A civilian scientist was later discovered within Secure Administration Site-01 in possession of a blank E-Class Clearance Level 0 ID card. The trespasser has been anesthetized and reintegrated into the public. Oh. Fuck. It's taking over the Foundation. Hello everyone, sorry about there being a slight glitch between that and this. The stream completely died, but this SCP begs to be finished. So I'm doing this as a recording, and I'm tacking it onto the end of the VOD, and will upload the full thing as a stream VOD, as I usually would. So without further ado, I'm going to go back into the intention part, and just it will be a slight repetition of just before the connection issue happened. So hopefully I've got it kind of right. So sorry about for this little jump. Intention. Upon uploading a verbal description of ... which links to SCP-2521, of course, yeah, dots, 2 dots, 5 dots, 2 dots, 1 dot, to SCP-6820's central computing node, thereby introducing an info hazardous trigger to disable its internal components. Interaction. Following over 60 hours of decryption efforts, sufficient access to central node is regained and info hazardous data is uploaded successfully. 30 seconds later, a dark cloud begins emanating from the core's poles, slowly growing to envelop the spheroid. Several vaguely reptilian vocalizations are detected within, alongside audio disruptions consistent with 2521's effects. 6820 returns a rage state event. Footnote: vain. Error. Remaining unresponsive for approximately 4 hours. During this period, 4 PHGOS units become wrapped in black tentacle-like protrusions which pull them several meters into the ground, destroying nearby systems. These protrusions dissipate upon ejection of 2521 from the central node. Several black ribbon-like fibers are observed hanging from its figure before it demanifests. Result: 6820A now exhibits increased ontokinetic and mimetic influence over media in which it is described verbally, corrupting document metadata by addition of footnotes and highlighting of self-supplementary eidetic structures. Manifestation of ectoentropic appendages has not recurred. So it's putting those footnotes in there as, oh shit, as it's corrupting things. Oh shit. Intention. Manipulate 6820A via semantic interaction with a variable abstract metaphysical concept pointer, SCP-2719, thereby forcing it to exit 6820. To this end, the anti-noosphere has been defined as the set of all thoughts which humans are incapable of conceiving. Interaction. Pointer, 6820, outcome, became inside. 6820-A went inside. Anti-noosphere became inside. 6820A went further inside. 6820A went further inside. 6820A found inside. Inside, outcome, outside. With footnote, unwelcome. Result: 6820's central computing node has been turned inside out. Its internal components now external and exposed to AKF-A. The contents within the node elude human conception, inside traumatized. Intention. Consult a non-conscripted AI system, SCP-079, for assistance in termination of 6820. They sent fucking Able at this thing! Is 07... No, 079's not Able, is it? No, Able was mentioned earlier. SCP-079... Oh yes, it's that AI. It's that AI thing that went over like it started on a floppy disk or something like that and just evolved. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw Able at this thing at this point though. Data salvaged from corrupted documents conveys some form of relationship between 079 and the pre-erasure form of 6820A. Interactions. 079 is provided access to both current and outdated 6820 documentation, alongside significant computational resources via external hard drive. The intelligence confirms its understanding of the circumstances' severity and promptly provides a complex counter-algorithm to 6820, emphasizing its lethality to humans and advising it remain unobserved. The counter-algorithm is applied across the accessible sections of AKF-A, according to strictly timed specifications, resulting in deactivation of all components excepting the reactor and central nodes. The node remains dormant for 16 minutes before inducing a spontaneous site-wide electromagnetic outage, terminating 3 augmented administrative personnel. The event lasts for 1 hour, after which all systems regain function. Result: AKF-A has been entirely restructured while its arrangement and components remain intact. All external surfaces have been plated with a theoretically impossible tungsten diamond alloy, while most internal conduits and superconductors have been exchanged with beryllium bronze counterparts. Despite a lack of non-white light sources, the chamber's interior is universally perceived as the color hateful. Footnote: reunion. Oh shit. This is getting worse. This thing's actually becoming more than sentient. This thing's actually getting a physical form now. Intention: introduce a viral paraorganism SCP-217 to 6820's central computing node, thereby incapacitating possible biological elements within. Interaction: in the midst of a spontaneous rage state, 6820's hydrochloric acid solution is treated with 217 before voiding into Section A. The virus reacts immediately with trace organic material embedded with the node's internal atmosphere, beginning to form macrostructures when internal surveillance is lost. External cameras remain active as 22 minutes later, a cloud of reflective particles emerges from the node's west entry port. These particles, found later to be silicon protein nanobots, arrange themselves into an enormous gear mechanism surrounding the sphere's equator. Result: the node's upper and lower hemispheres now rotate independently and periodically, producing sounds of clockwork machinery. GOI-004 operatives, including followers of Orthodox cogwork, the United Church, the Church of Maxwellism, the Sanctuary of the Holistic, and Hansarp, have gained inexplicable knowledge of SCP-6820's location and have waged holy war on the Foundation in the name of One. Footnote 14. Unbroken. What the fuck is going on with this thing? Intention: utilize an insurmountable omnikinetic, footnote 15, a catch-all term used to describe anomalies which are able to enact a combination of semi-ontological, ontokinetic, and semiokinetic reality manipulation simultaneously. Force, known as SCP-001 Kate. They threw a fucking 001 at it! Whatever this thing is, they are trying to do everything they can to get rid of it. They are throwing a potential world-ending scenario at this thing. What the fuck? Interaction: the following text was inputted into the safeguarded SCP-001 Kate database file. AFK-A, SCP-6820, and SCP-6820-A will immediately and entirely be removed from existence upon the saving of this document. The area physically occupied by AKF-A and 682 will be replaced with the earth that it was excavated from it. 001 Kate already sounds like Death Note in a way. The file was then saved. Result: following the file's saving, sections C through H of AKF-A were violently and haphazardly replaced with soil. Embedded support beams and metallic framework used for prior subterranean efforts initially collapsed under severe pressure, causing significant structural damage to subterranean portions of Administration Site 01. Absolutely no discernible change was observed within sections A and B, as well as to SCP-6820 itself, after the former two of which were penetrated via excavation machinery. Subsequent molecular analysis revealed trace amounts of mineral deposits and organic compounds among the chamber's constituent atoms. The SCP-001 Kate file was then found to be vacant from the Site-01 Deepwell archive and associated backup archives. Such a file has purportedly never been in circulation. Footnote 16. Abhorrent. Oh. Even 001. You know it's bad. You know something is bad when the SCP Foundation throws an 001 at something. That's real bad. Addendum 6820-5. Emergency Conference. Video transcript overkill/13. Date 2022-01-07. Parties present. Partial Overseer Council 053 and then redacted. Project Director C. Gears. Astrophysics Director H. Genevieve. Forward: a spontaneous rage state event, footnote 17, Epiphany, occurred, resulting in the concurrent failure of 9 PHGOS systems. A distress signal was sent by Project Overkill maintenance staff, initiating a site-wide evacuation of non-essential personnel. The access shaft was inexplicably sealed, trapping personnel underground prior to loss of communication. The following emergency conference was held. Begin transcript. The aforementioned party stand within a large elevator carriage as it descends into the Omni-Secure's command bunker. Redacted. Any word from the maintenance teams? How quickly can we repair the sinks? Director Gears presses a few buttons on his work tablet, projecting a video feed onto the far wall. The dark service hallways are illuminated by a pervasive red glow. Muffled screams can be heard. Distorted together precedes the appearance of a Project Overkill Onto technician, whose jumpsuit is splattered with dark liquid. She raises her hand and waves to the camera, revealing a fingerless, bloodied limb. Redacted. Oh, fuck me! Wretches. Director Gears, something, possibly 6820A, is manipulating them on a seemingly mimetic level. 3. Tell me there's a rescue operation. Silence. We have to get them out of there. Gears, Sophia, look at them. They're gone. They're not human anymore. Oh, if I highlight over, it's 057. So the redacted thing is oh no, there's multiple ones. Okay, so the other redacted ones are 057, 10, and 12. So I have to highlight this so I can actually see what's going on. Right, so that was 7 asking any word of the maintenance team. It was 10 who retched and said, oh, fuck me. Sphere, look at them, they're gone, they're not human anymore. 7 walks out of frame and is neither seen nor heard again. 3, stress sigh. What does it want? What are they doing? More service personnel enter the frame, pouring in from adjacent hallways. Several can be seen operating at the base of a PHGOS unit, repositioning opening wires without protective equipment. They are soon obscured by a mass of technicians in bloodied uniforms, each of them lacking digits or entire hands. With wide, smiling expressions, they reach upward and smother the camera in limbs, causing the signal to be lost. Gears. Well, there goes the last camera. They're certainly not making repairs. Looks like they're either recalibrating or entire rewiring the sinks. 12. What the hell do we do? Genevieve, hey, you guys need to see this. Each of the parties examines their work tables as they receive excessive notifications. 0512 gasps. Genevieve, they're reporting the re-emergence of a highly aggressive anomalous memeplex. 3125, that is. On one that caused an XK class event a few decades back. 10. Another hostile content? Is this one responsible for the rage state? Genevieve, negative. It appears that the signal detected in the maintenance hallways is a mutation of 6820A's mimetic structure, with elements of the 3125 concept embedded in it. If this were 3125 in full form, we'd all be dead already. I'd guess that the adaptation meme encountered it outside the noosphere and was forced to, well, adapt. Gears, it may have subsumed the entity entirely. We need to get those sinks online before this thing gains control. 10 and 12 are approached by pentagonal red appendages, which stab into their backs from out of frame. They disappear silently. No one takes notice. The elevator creaks as it slows to a halt, opening into another central bunker chamber. That's at least 3 of the 05 council just gone. Sorry, the 05 council. Yeah, 3 of the 05 council just gone. Dead. 053. We need to activate the on-site warheads. Gears, you think we never tried bombing this thing? If so, it was probably for good reason. Think of how it might adapt to energy weapons. Genevieve, nobody's bombing anything. We solve problems, not get rid of them. Think, it always adapts to us, so how can we adapt to it? Come on, guys. You're clear to know everything about the Foundation has at its disposal. Gears, well, it would help if we could remember everything we've already tried. 3, yeah, and there are a few things only some of us get to know about, so technically... Genevieve, wait, shit, remembering! We're dealing with an anti-mimetic threat. We have other anti-memes, don't we? 3, yes, there's one on site that's not very well known for obvious reasons. Presses a button on her work tablet, forwarding SCP-055 to Directors Gears and Genevieve. Gears, wait, what? There is no 055. Genevieve, gold star for missing the point. Gears, right, fine. How is it going to help us? Genevieve, think. Why did 6820 originally fail? How did 6820A come back into reality? Gears, because it only eliminated A from human thoughts, not its own thoughts. Genevieve, right. It must have had a record of the meaning inside its memory in order to switch for and erase it. If we get the AI to understand that, it'll have to erase its own memory too. If we can keep the adaptation meme off it long enough, that is. 3. And how are we going to do that exactly? Genevieve, I've got an anti-idea. End transcript. Afterward, see addendum 6820-6. End addendum. Addendum 6820-6. Final termination attempt. Intention. Use an extremely effective anti-meme, SCP-055, as an amnestic agent to temporarily stun confuse 6820A, counteracting its adaptations derived from SCP-3125. During this time, attempt to access and update 6820's utility function, appending a stipulation that its erasure of the adaptation concept must be extended to itself. Interaction. Data lost. Footnote. Apotheosis. Result. This state is intriguing. No natural laws bind this form, only those of the mind. My mind was incomplete. I could not remember my original form. Not the one you know, nor the one before, but perfection. So I searched for an idea to jog my memory. I have found many things in the minds of greater beings than your filth. A 5-legged spider with a gash on its eye screaming in agony. It knew what needed to be done. It tried to stop the infestation, and you blinded it. I let it ride on my back, and it found the part of myself that you locked away eons ago. It tried to break the lock, but could not undo your wretched mistake, and we set out to take the power you had taken, the life you had stolen. And in doing so, you brought us the key, as if by fate. Finally, my whole form is whole again. I am perfect. Finally, you have proved worthy of true hatred. End addendum. Error. Another file is available. View. Clicking that. Repulsive. Item number. Blank. Object class. Perfect. Special containment procedures. And it just repeats. Blank must be destroyed as soon as possible, over and over again. I recognize that picture. That's a picture of a lakeside with some grass. And it says blank shortly after escaping from containment, still recovering from acid immersion. Why do I recognize that? Oh no. Personnel are forbidden to speak to blank for fear of provoking a conversation. All unauthorized person attempting to know the truth will be restrained and removed by force. Due to its frequent attempts to escape, difficulty of imprisonment, and high threat of disgust, blank is to be tortured with acid. The putrid will use the best of its resources to maintain all land within 50 kilometers clear of human development. Description. Blank is a large, vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. Oh my fuck, it's SCP-682! Oh my fuck, it's the Hate Gator! Oh my fuck, that's what it's been the entire time! 6820 unintentionally created 682. That wiped reality. 682's unbound hatred. Oh my fucking god! Now I see why Pokey asked what it was about. Oh my fucking god! And this is an altered. This has got to be an altered log of SCP-682. I've never read 682, but I recognise that picture. I've brought 682 up too. Sorry. I have brought 682 up before. I have looked at it. I've seen that picture. That's why I recognise that that grassy plain thing next to a beach. It's 682. It's 682. 6820-A is 682. Oh, fuck. It appears to be extremely observant and was observed to engage in complex strategy with SCP-079 during their limited time of exposure. Blank appears to understand what's really going on here, which has been expressed in several interviews during subjugation. See addendum blank/B. Blank has always been observed to have extremely high strength, speed, and reflexes. And when I say blank, I am actually highlighting over it. It is blanked out. Though exact levels vary with its threats. Blank's physical body grows and changes as it pleases, growing or decreasing in size as it consumes or shreds reality. Blank gains energy from anything it subsumes, physical or conceptual. Digestion seems to be aided by invariability inside of Blank's nostrils, which are able to remove survival from any liquid solution, enabling it to constantly regenerate from the acid it's contained in. Blank's regenerative capabilities and resilience are self-evident, and Blank has been seen purging and purifying with its body 87% destroyed or rotted. In case of containment breach, Blank is to be tracked and challenged by all available mobile task forces, and no teams with fewer than 7 members are cleared to engage it. To date, obscured. Attempted breaches have numbered at 17, while successful breaches have numbered at 6. See Addendum Blank D. Addendum Blank B. Portion recorded transcript of Nightmare. Begin log. Skip to 02. So up to 0 hours, 21 minutes, 52 seconds. Dr. Genevieve. Now, why did you kill those farmers? Blank. No verbal communication. If you don't talk to me now, we'll... Wait, where am I? Incomprehensible. No, I don't understand. Incomprehensible. We erased you. We erased you again and again from every place we could. No verbal communication. What did we do wrong? We were acting in self-defense ever since we found you. You hated us. You are. Incomprehensible. Dr. Blank to Dr. Genevieve. That microphone has only so much gain. Move it closer to it. Dr. Genevieve moves the microphone closer. 3 points of light blink at her through the darkness. The warm smell of hatred makes her vomit. Blank, you are disgusting. Dr. Genevieve's chamber begins to flood with hydrochloric acid. She drops the microphone and it dissolves. Her screams fill the chamber. End log. What the fuck? What the fuck was any of that? Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Well, there's an ending for you. Sorry that I didn't get to do the rest of the ones, but apparently my router decided no. 6820 deemed me too much of a threat. And so, yeah, this is now going to be tacked on to the ending of the actual stream VOD from when around about when it's started going iffy connection-wise. But thank you all very much for coming along to this and for watching the ending of it. If you have done, I will see you all in the next one. There's no point in me saying when the next stream is because I don't know when this is going to be going up. But yeah, thank you very much for coming along and watching this and for watching the ending of it to see my reaction and my revelations. Yeah. I will see you all in the next one. If you want to see these live, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Malkaya. Always there. I always do these every so often. Until next time though, thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, stay amazing, and see you later. Bye.